You through some of the pictures and the group entries that we have from various schools all across Maharashtra. Somehow we were unable to connect with them over here and bring them over here. Yeah, so it was very interesting. We organized this entire program actually for Maharashtra as such. But we also got entries because it was an online, post that we created. We got entries from Tamil Nadu. In fact, we still are getting entries even as of now when we are talking and we are discussing this point. Can we go to the next slide? These are the locations from where we have received all the entries. We have got more than 500 entries and we had the competition in two different parts. One was a painting competition, which was a modern kind of a competition, and we had a cultural Rangoli competition representing two different aspects, one of ozone and one of clean air. And the creativity, बच्चों की creativities देखकर you will be like surprised and amazed कि कितने ज़्यादा creative. They have even created the chemistry of ozone in a rangoli, and we were so happy to see. Can you please join your hands to give a big clap to all the students who have participated wholeheartedly. मैं आपको कुछ group pictures बता रहा हूँ. And this is amazing because our whole thought process of having this competition in the place was to reach out to people to make them understand the importance of clean air, the importance of ozone protection, and where we are leading to. इसी माध्यम से क्योंकि बच्चे रंगोली और पेंटिंग बनाते हैं तो हमारा एक्सपेक्टेशन ये है कि वो बहुत ज़्यादा सर्च करते हैं टॉपिक्स के बारे में, एंड दैट इज़ हाउ द अवेयरनेस इज स्प्रेड. This was the basic context in which we actually carried forward this entire program. And you see the creativity. I'll get you to the next. This is how a school actually represented. They themselves conducted a competition based on our requirement. और उसमें से entries जो best थे, they sorted it out and sent it across to us. And this was categorized into two parts. अप टू 7th स्टैंडर्ड के स्टूडेंट तो आप देखेंगे फर्स्ट स्टैंडर्ड टू 2nd स्टैंडर्ड के स्टूडेंट भी पार्टिसिपेट कर रहे हैं. एट द सेम टाइम फ्रॉम 7th ऑनवर्ड्स टू 10th स्टैंडर्ड वाज द सेकंड कैटेगरी. एंड look at this. I mean, the creativity that we see over here is amazing, as I've been telling you. And if we go to the next part, you would see amazing pictures, amazing creativity, the concept of science with culture, science with describing the issues to the management plan. So this entire picture, we did not find a time to arrange this in a proper order, in a chronology, to start off with the problems, to end with the management, which the students have actually suggested us. But हम ये चाह रहे हैं कि इसको करेंगे, and we will be representing it in a different form. My experience has been great with this because when we were looking at the pictures, आम्हाला म्हणजे we were really thinking as to सगळ्यांनाच प्राइज देऊन टाकायला पाहिजे असं आम्हाला वाटत होतं. पण that is a limited part. But we will definitely be appreciating all these students for their creativity by giving them some consolation prizes for the schools for participation. At the same time, we would be declaring the prize winners in the session today. But look at this. I mean, this is especially we wanted to show you because the competition was restricted for the Maharashtra state from our side. But we had people from Tamil and they were very, very creative. So because we have Darknesser here, I would request that probably we should also felicitate our participants from Tamil Nadu, even if the competition was restricted to the state of Maharashtra. But that overwhelming response and the creativity that they have shown, the neatness of the art that they have presented is just amazing. So I thought we had some time today, so I would discuss these points. We have almost more than 500 pictures, and we would be putting it up on MPCB website so that each of these participants can definitely take something away from the other pictures and take it forward to participate, keep on participating year on year with us. This is how the pictures look like. We are doing a lot of data analytics on this. कि लड़कों ने कितना एंट्री दिया है, भेजा है, लड़कियों ने कितनी एंट्री भेजी है. So there are a lot of data analytics to be worked out. But this is amazing. I mean, Maharashtra government through MPCB जो ये अटेम्प्ट कर रही है टू क्रिएट अवेयरनेस, स्प्रेड अवेयरनेस ऑफ क्लीन एयर थ्रू these children has come out so nicely that we will probably cheer this for the entire year and look forward for their more participation like this in the coming days. Thank you so much, and we will be very soon starting with the session. You could enjoy the pictures, you could think about it as to how this participation can be enhanced from the school children, and also taking it forward. We are thinking that we might take it forward to the college guys also and the professionals also, so that the message of clean air would be spread very soon across the state of Maharashtra. So thank you so much. I'll be back with you all. A big hand for our school children again, and the school teachers who have made it a point that they all participate with us.
So within 15 days, we are going to start this program. Before we start this conference, I would like to request Honorable Dr. Vidyananda Mudgare to explain about the National Clean Air Program. What is the basic concept behind of this, and what the national level number of cities are doing the best practices, and where the Maharashtra Pollution Control Board along with the state of Maharashtra stand belongs to this campaign. Dr. Mudgare.
Thank you, Sanjay. This National Clean Air Program was launched by the Honorable Prime Minister, Government of India, way back in 2019, and in which million plus cities and 131 cities are participated. And their aim is to reduction of the PM concentration up to 30% to 40% by 2025. So there was a rigorous exercise conducted throughout India through the municipal corporations and stakeholder workshops, and finally the action plan was formulated for each cities, including the micro action plans, and that was placed before the state level monitoring committee, and it was placed before the Government of India. It was approved, and finally implementation started. So in Maharashtra we got 19 non-attainment cities along with the 6 million plus agglomeration cities, in which 25 cities and 5 cantonment boards are in the clean air program. And our plan is focused on a NCAP cities, that is 9 cities, and agglomeration cities of million plus cities. And our plan was concentrated on a mass transportation system through the EV buses. We got nearly 3,000 crores of the grants from the Government of India through these cities, spread over 5 years. And based on their performance assessment, the Government of India Department of Expenditure releases the grant to the Ministry of Urban Development, Government of Maharashtra. To add to this, there are last 3 years, Government of India is conducting the Swachh Vayu Sarvekshan and felicitating the various categories of the corporations to participate in the program. Last year also there was a program in Uttar Pradesh, and this year they have conducted in Bhopal. And last year our city Amravati got 3rd prize, and we're glad to know that in 3 lakh to 10 lakh category, Amravati stood number 1 in All India ranking. Big congratulations to them, and they have received a prize of rupees 25 lakhs from Government of India, which was given by the Honorable Union Minister Shri Bhupendraji Yadav on the Clean Air Day program, which was organized at Bhopal on 7th of September. Also, other cities are participated. Our Thane city was one of the cleanest city, and they got 3rd prize in All India in 10 lakh to 50 lakh population. So it was a very rigorous exercise they have done. So our cities, Thane out of first city Indore got 187 marks out of 200. Second stood is Agra, 186, and Thane got 185.2 marks. This is, and our other all 47 cities in million plus, and our Mumbai got 10th rank is with 176.3 scores. So these cities like Nagpur, Nashik, Pune, Visai Virar, Aurangabad now has to work hard for the next year. In the category 2, that is the population of 3 lakhs to 10 lakhs, this was evaluated by the high level committee set up by Government of India, and Amravati got 194 marks out of 200. That is amazing, because I know the Amravati, they started the work since last year, right from the 8th September when they got the first, and their aim was to how we can get first rank in the next year. And Municipal Commissioner Amravati and their entire team of NCAP along with the MPCB officials have worked hard for getting the #1 rank. And other cities also fared good, but now they have to come up for the next year. This is the 4th year of the competition that was organized by Government of India, and we hope to see all our cities gets the rank in the next 3 in the coming years. So this category, there are various sectors in this. They have given the marks on the categorization, biomass and municipal solid waste burning, road dust, dust from the construction demolition waste, vehicular emission, emission from the industries, IEC activities and public awareness, and improvement in the PM concentration. So these are the various category, various sector-wise specific weightage they have given, and 1.5 crore cash prize has got to the Indore for 22-23, Agra 1 crore, and category 1 Thane got 50 lakhs, whereas in category 2 Amravati got 75 lakhs, then Muradabad in Uttar Pradesh 50 lakhs, and Guntur in Andhra Pradesh 25 lakhs, and third category is below 3 lakhs, Parwanu in Himachal Pradesh, then Kalam in Himachal Pradesh, and Angul in Orissa they got. So now this is a challenge for the government, all our municipal corporation, to see that how best we can utilize the grant which are received from the Government of India along with the convergence program through the various ministries like Ministry of Heavy Industries, Ministry of Earth Sciences, Ministry of Housing, Ministry of Urban Development, and how we can utilize these funds so that best air quality improvement program we can launch. Even for the best performance also, last year we got 51 crores as an incentive from the Government of India. Because some cities of Maharashtra has done very good work, and this year also we are hope to get some money, around 40 crores from the Government of India. So Ministry and Ministry of Expenditure, Government of India, their schedule is very tight. They evaluate on a very rigorous basis before releasing the grant through their accounts, and this is all you can see on a Prana portal of Government of India. There is not a single hard copy they accept. They only accept through the e-papers, and I hope in the coming days our city, the Maharashtra cities, will get a good clean air in the coming days. Thank you.
मीरा सोयीसुविधांनी सज्ज असलेलं आणि समृद्ध ऐतिहासिक वारसा लाभलेलं एक स्मार्ट शहर. गेल्या काही वर्षांपासून मीरा भाईंदर शहराच्या प्रगतीचा आलेख सातत्याने उंचावत असून महाराष्ट्राच्या नकाशावर मीरा भाईंदर आज एक स्वच्छ, संपन्न आणि सुशासित शहर म्हणून नावारूपास येत आहे. एखाद्या शहराचा सर्वांगीण विकास होत असतानाच शहरात विविध प्रकारचे विकास प्रकल्प, औद्योगिक प्रकल्पांची वाढ होते. त्याचा शहरातील हवेच्या गुणवत्तेवर परिणाम होण्याची शक्यता नाकारता येत नाही. त्यामुळे हवेची गुणवत्ता सुधारण्यासाठी केंद्र शासनाच्या 15व्या वित्त आयोगातील राष्ट्रीय स्वच्छ हवा कार्यक्रम NCAP अंतर्गत भारतातील 132 शहरांना विविध प्रकारचा निधी प्राप्त होणार आहे. यामध्ये हवेची गुणवत्ता सुधारण्यासाठी मीरा भाईंदर शहराला एकूण 81 कोटी रुपयांचा निधी या योजनेअंतर्गत देण्यात येणार आहे. यामधून हवेची गुणवत्ता सुधारण्यासाठी विविध प्रकारची कामे करण्यात येणार आहेत. जसे की मीरा भाईंदर शहरात सोलार पॅनल बसवणे, शहरातील स्मशानभूमी या इलेक्ट्रिक स्वरूपात सुरू करणे, शहरात इलेक्ट्रिक बस सेवा सुरू करणे, विविध प्रकारचे उद्यान तयार करणे, शहरातील धुलीकणांवर नियंत्रण आणणे इत्यादी प्रकारची कामे करण्यात येणार आहेत. 15वा वित्त आयोग निधी राष्ट्रीय स्वच्छ हवा कार्यक्रम NCAP योजनेअंतर्गत मीरा भाईंदर महानगरपालिकेस आतापर्यंत एकूण 40 कोटीचा निधी प्राप्त झाला असून उर्वरित 41 कोटी रुपयांचा निधी पुढील 2 वर्षात प्राप्त होणार आहे. पर्यावरण विभागामार्फत आतापर्यंत एकूण 7 डस्ट कंट्रोल यंत्रणा घेण्यात आल्या आहेत. यामधील 5 डस्ट कंट्रोल यंत्रणा या ट्रॉलीवर बसवण्यात आल्या आहेत, तर 2 डस्ट कंट्रोल यंत्रणा ट्रकवर बसवण्यात आल्या आहेत. या डस्ट कंट्रोल यंत्रणेद्वारे शहरातील हवेची गुणवत्ता सुधारण्यासाठी खूप मोठ्या प्रमाणात मदत होणार आहे. ट्रॉलीवरील 5 डस्ट कंट्रोल म्हणजेच धुलीकणावर नियंत्रण करणाऱ्या यंत्रणांद्वारे शहरात धुळीचे प्रमाण जास्त असलेल्या ठिकाणी ही यंत्रणा चालवून तेथील धुलीकण नियंत्रण ठेवण्यावर भर देण्यात येणार आहे. या ट्रॉलीवरील 5 यंत्रणांमधील 2 यंत्रणे हे महापालिकेच्या घनकचरा प्रकल्पावर ठेवण्यात आल्या आहेत. त्या ठिकाणी धुलीकणावर नियंत्रण ठेवण्याबरोबरच तेथील कचऱ्याच्या दुर्गंधीवर नियंत्रण ठेवण्यात मदत होणार आहे. धुलीकणावर नियंत्रण ठेवण्यासाठी वाहनावरील बहुउद्देशीय 2 डस्ट कंट्रोल यंत्रणा या शहरात विविध ठिकाणी फिरवण्यात येणार आहेत. या यंत्राद्वारे
our dignitaries, Honorable Sanjay Mukherjee sir and Honorable Praveen Darade sir has held up in some meetings. They will be reaching within half an hour. So we have decided to start with the technical session and then we'll continue with the inauguration session. So I again welcome. Before we'll go the formal program afterwards. I request Dr. Rakesh Kumar and for the technical session 1 and hand over to the Ajay Oza.
Good morning again. I'm back. Apologies for the delay in the start from our end, but we have an extremely distinguished speaker here, and I'm sure he's going to engage you all with his thought process to such an extent that you would, come to know as to why he's called as a scientist, an educator, a multifaceted personality, a mentor. I don't need any introduction for him. He has been my mentor, and almost everyone sitting here knows about Dr. Rakesh Kumar sir. I would just request him to, come to us and enlighten us with the thought process that we have and the efforts in the policies and the negotiations that is happening in terms of clean air in Maharashtra, in India, as well as internationally, so that we can take it forward, sir. Please, sir. Please welcome. Welcome with a round of applause. So, before that. Yes, it's there. So, we are just loading the presentation. I would request Modkare sir to welcome Rakesh sir ji. So we'll have 15 minutes. That we have already spoken. No, I would want.
आलं का? कनेक्ट.
Okay, so good morning. This is sometime very rare opportunity that you get first to speak. Yesterday in International Climate Summit, I was speaking just before lunch, which was a very difficult slot. I'm happy that you all will be attentive enough to listen to me today. In this particular 15-20 minutes that I'm going to discuss is few things which have happened in the past, something which we are doing now, and what is that dilemma that all of us, the people who are from air pollution community, and I call it community in the sense that there are few people who are very passionate, and I understand this has become a reality in just recent times. If I remember my olden days in IIT Bombay when I was doing MTech, most of us who were passing out were looking for job, and everyone would say take a project which is relating to water and wastewater because air wale ko job nahi milta hai. That was the situation I am talking about, 86, 87 that time. But now air quality has got this proportion where people are giving importance. Water still remains as bad as lucrative. Solid waste has now become very important area as well. So just coming back to this whole issue when we talk about air pollution, and I would not want to give the same thing which you all have heard together, but it's very important to bring the context here. Earlier, some of us who studied the history of air pollution, and there was a documentation which was done way back, but now it may or may not be available. In 1905, there was a Bengal Smoke Nuisance Act. It was before independence. And that time, that Smoke Nuisance Act was actually what? That if you create any, smoke, कुछ भी धुआं आपने create किया, उसकी वजह से किसी को भी discomfort हो गया, person can go to police and file a case, and that time the fine was 1 anna. So that is how it was in that. And after independence, we got Bombay Smoke Nuisance Act. I don't know whether MPC people also know about it or not, but this was much before the Air Act came, right? So it was Bengal Smoke Nuisance Act, Bombay Smoke Nuisance Act, then we got Air Act in 1981, and then over a period of time as we went on polluting more and more, we got everything else together. So earlier, as I was saying, the scale was very small, so there was local laws. Now scale has become bigger, so we are moving from national to regional, and now if you want to take action, then we have to do it at a city scale. That's what NCAP is all about. And in city also, if we have to do a real targeted action, then we need to know where the hotspots are. So every city has 3, 4, 5, 10 hotspots, and that's where their action has to be done. Now, what is important also here is that there were few things. Those who remember mission inventory of 4 cities which were done in those days, and Neeri was involved in making that. At that time, it was Mumbai, Delhi, Calcutta, and Madras. In those days, it was called Madras only. So mission inventory had only 3 sources. It just talked about transportation, industries, and some commercial heating related combustion. That's it. So our pizza slices were just having 3. But now in recent times when studies started happening, people became a little more aware. Then people started talking about which are the controlled sources, uncontrolled sources, something which is coming outside of the city, like case of Delhi where it is coming from Haryana, Punjab. All of that started getting counted. People started counting crematorium. People started talking about resuspension, which was never in the radar of any air pollution related activities that happen. So when we look at solving this problem, which is not so easy, it seems much more easier from one action point of view. But if you look at the complexity is the heterogeneity of sources. And if you look at each one of them together, like motorized traffic, you have morning peak and evening peak. Now these days is even night peak, because all your construction activity related motorized vehicles are moving around in night. And someone asked me, how is that night NO2 values are very, very high. Now you know that so many vehicles are moving in the night that you don't even have a count. Industries are very location specific, you can figure it out. Again, domestic kitchen, which was something which was ignored earlier, but now it's a major source when you're talking about population of say Mumbai or any city for that matter. Sometimes cooking itself can be a significant source of air pollution. So we remember case of Chandrapur where we were trying to figure out how the air pollution is. We realized that even rich in Chandrapur were using coal for water heating and other low category heat requirement, only because it was cheaper, it was stolen, and it's easily available, whatever you may call it. But it is something which was not clear to us for a long time, and that's a story which we keep telling Dr. Modgare also, and he is the one who knew it, that we always blamed in Chandrapur the power plant. That's the one which is polluting the most. But there was, I would say, God sent something happened, water was not available, power plant got closed, but still the air quality did not improve. And that's the story, that this local sources of cooking was the one which was contributing to local air quality. And if we had not done that analysis, we would not have known what happens. Again, open biomass burning is not accounted. Sometimes it happens here, sometimes it happens elsewhere. DG said in certain areas. And construction dust is something, again, I would say is a new thing altogether. Earlier, again, we knew a little bit, but not as such. I would not get into agriculture residue burning, which is very specific to certain areas. Now, just to know, when people started talking about, all of us said कि COVID के time में हमारा सब air quality, water quality, everything improved. And what improved and how the background was changing during that period. So when you look at all of this data together, it says, and everyone felt that when there is no activity outside, our air quality will improve drastically. Actually, it did not improve drastically. It just improved, if you can see it here, it is PM 2.5 improved by 34%, 17, in some places just 1.7% increase was also noticed. So in North India, it was more reduction in PM 2.5, but when we talk about East, it was less. And in the center, it was slightly increased. I don't know how is that happening, but that's the data that is basically showing it to us. Now, when we look at this correlation, PM 2.5 is primarily supposed to be coming from combustion sources. Anything that we burn, it should come. And the moment we do any combustion, we also get NO2. So NO2 and PM 2.5, it correlates, then you know there is a combustion source based PM 2.5 coming. But if it is not correlating, then we know PM 2.5 is coming from somewhere else also. And that was the data that became very clear when we looked at all of this. You don't need to go into this detail, but what actually important here is that certain kind of reduction which happened, it also showed was our background concentration. And MS, who is sitting here in MPCB, he should also realize many times he will get demand कि हमारा WHO स्टैंडर्ड क्यों नहीं मीट हो रहा, क्योंकि हमारा बैकग्राउंड कॉन्सेंट्रेशन इतना है कि हम उस लेवल तक जा ही नहीं सकते. Our background itself is more than 30, 40, even in the remotest, cleanest places. So if I want to say WHO standard of 15 to be achieved, we are talking about uncontrollable data, and then in that sense we will keep struggling, breaking our head, and we will not achieve it. So we have to also know, and that's where we were saying that we have to have that background information in place, what is controllable, what is not controllable. And therefore the money to be spent should go in that area where we can control things. So here again, if you see some of these numbers, again, it's just given you different places like Ludhiana concentration that we see. Even in complete lockdown situation, we had PM 2.5 of 25, 35, 37. Hardly anywhere we got very close to WHO standard except KER Trivandrum, Kerala, where it was 15. Otherwise, it was much higher to achieve that. So when we look at overall policy intervention and their air quality, Delhi becomes an example always. And it looks like Delhi ka whatever policy related things are there, we try to adopt. I'm not saying one should not, but one should be very careful, particularly in the case of air quality, that anything which is happening in Delhi may or may not be valid, may or may not be relevant for other cities. So here in this case, if you see, Delhi geographically has been always considered a city in which we want to control, but the impact of the air pollution activity which happens in and around. So you have Gurgaon in other states, you have Noida in other states, Ghaziabad in other states, Faridabad in other states, but they are almost like twin or multiple cities just across. And all the activities actually is happening together. So anytime we want to solve any problem for Delhi, it would not be easy to solve if we don't consider the whole of air shed. And that's the whole idea of air shed which we propagated, that the way we have water shed, बारिश जहाँ से होती है फिर एक तरफ जहाँ पर ढलान होता है वहाँ पर पानी जाती है, उसी तरह से एयर का है. It's certain areas air will move in a certain way and certain pattern. So if we take the whole of air shed as the boundary, then we will be able to do a planning which will be more sustainable. So these are some time series data analytics which was done. So RSPM, earlier we used to call it RSPM, respirable suspended particulate matter. Now we are not using this terminology. So here average increment was in the range of about 0.98 to 3.19. SO2 actually showed reduction. The main thing which is of worry here is that you have NO2 values which are increasing. And that's where we should be spending our more time and concern, because particulate matter, if it is from geogenic origin, they are not likely to be as impactful or as toxic as we feel, unless until it is coming from combustion sources. But if NO2, which is coming from all combustion sources, can actually be a health implication for doing this. So that's the concern which we all see it, the kind of CNG that we are using, some of the other vehicle-related burning that we do, petrol and diesel. NO2 values are very positively increasing, and that's why I said there are certain pockets of Mumbai and Delhi, due to construction activity in the night, the NOx values in the night is much higher than in the day values. Just to also highlight what are the policy interventions which happened in Delhi, which also happened in many of the cities here. So if you look at all the major focus in last 20 years has been vehicles. So we had new PUC, new Bharat stage 2, 3, 4, now we have 6, right? So vehicle was always the major focus, and I understand it's a major source, but that is where we were, but we could not do much of road dust, fugitive emissions, other domestic sectors, bakeries, crematoria, so-called e-waste recycling facility which is in other places. The other thing which happened and which gave the maximum benefit was fuel improvement, where we looked at fuel quality, petrol and diesel improved drastically. And that is what actually led to the improvement of air quality that we noticed. Normally we criticize ourselves that we are not doing enough, but I tell you, India, by way of taking certain policy decisions of cleaning fuel, cleaning our vehicles, and also industries related activities, actually gave a tremendous amount of benefit in terms of air quality. The only thing which was missing, if you see it here, that we still do not have analysis, and that's the challenge for all those people who do the data analytics, which policy led to how much reduction. And that's why we call it cost effectiveness analysis. If I have spent 1 rupee in this particular sector for cleaning it, whether it gave me some corresponding benefit or not. If I have got benefit, then I say, okay, money well spent. Otherwise, money could be just spent. As we see now, even in NCAP, many cities are spending in certain so-called cleaner system, but it may or may not be giving the benefit that we are looking at. Those who are uninitiated in this, if you see, national level efforts started from 1974, much before 1981, Air Act came. And there's a series of work which was done, and all those activities were notified, people took action, whole lot of activities happened. And why I say this is, for people who are sitting in Mumbai, chamber, which used to be called gas chamber, is like 1/5 cleaner, meaning the level is at least 5 times cleaner than what it used to be in 60s and 70s. We need to take pride in saying some positive thing which has happened in our cities. Similarly, Agra, which used to be highly polluted, has got much more cleaner. Still, it got some prize, which is good. But all of those areas which were known as highly polluted have become much more cleaner. And all of that has happened because of multiple policies which have been implemented. So what is important here is that when we do all of this, there is one side policy matrix, and the other side is technology matrix. That what do we do in terms of technology implementation? So when we talk about power plant, we have got FGDs installed, selective catalytic reduction installed for NO2. we got ESP for particulate matter. Each of these were good things which happened. But now, since the standards have become much more tighter, it is important to understand how and who is monitoring this technological intervention in terms of efficiency, upkeep, and related things. We haven't yet seen a great amount of work which has been done in small scale industries, because air pollution control equipment for small scale industries are actually very expensive, and that is where there is a need to do more engineering and science so that we can bring some cost reduction so that people do it. To give you an example, lime kiln, a typical lime kiln, if you want to install a conventional air pollution control equipment, it will be more expensive than the lime kiln itself in a normal way. So we need to bring in all these universities and colleges and whoever can solve this problem, bring this cost reduction, give a challenge, grand challenge, कि ये 1/3 में करके दो आप, 1/5 में करके दो, something of that kind, so that we see that. Most of the people who are very well learned, they don't take smaller problems, and that's why these problems are never solved. Vehicles, we have done enough. I think we should leave it for time being. In vehicle, what is actually needed is whether we have a good traffic control, whether we have less congestion, whether we can have alternate mode of transport. Those are management related issues in this case. So I'll not go into each of the details, but overall, if you look at control strategies which has worked in some way and likely to work much more, is that we haven't yet started doing sectoral analysis and sectoral control. So if I say I want to do it for biomass, crematoria, transport, construction, all of these each one of them should be targeted one by one. Take good amount of caution, and then announce victories. That in this sector we started with X, now we are at 0.5x, 0.3x. So that victory is able to go as a positive message that we have cleaned our act. The overall ambient air quality improvement may or may not be seen immediately, but once we do sector by sector, we should be able to do it. So just to give you some numbers which are normally not known, Delhi has approximately 35,000 tandoors, which people didn't know. And you will be surprised the quantity of wood which is used is huge. And it's not only wood, which happens in Mumbai as well. You get all kind of material which can burn in tandoor. So it could be rubber, it could be plywood, it could be anything. Some of those illegal pet coke also is burnt because you want to do it. Similarly, it happens in other sectors as well. So if I want to improve air quality, ambient air quality will not give me any data. But if I say 35,000, 40,000 tandoors which are operating in the city are now converted to electricity, then I say we have actually scored a victory point, and obviously it will be leading to some air quality improvement that we go ahead. So I would again not go in transport. As I said, transport sector has been over-regulated. Too much of regulation has happened. Now whatever has to happen in transport sector is with respect to management practices. Create more public transport, create more of space where people can move from A to B, and then keep counting how it is to be done. In agriculture, we all know it. Sometimes people sitting in Mumbai may or may not be affected by it, but agriculture sector does a lot of burning. गुड़ की भट्टी, ये जो भी processing जो होते हैं वहाँ पे बहुत सारा होता है ना. Smaller towns are actually experiencing more of it. So in agriculture sector related, I would again say it is very, very site specific. So the good ka making in Dehradun and Uttarakhand is entirely different than what happens in Maharashtra. It's not the same formula that we can apply here. Similarly for forest cover, and this is a number which many people ask, I thought I should share it here today, that evergreen tree ranging from 10 to 70 centimeter diameter reduces particulate matter about 0.02 to 1.4 kg per year. Doesn't seem very big number, but if you had large number of trees and if you count number together, then if you are saying 1 lakh tree, 5 lakhs tree, and then multiply this 1.4 kg, then you saw how much effectiveness that you are creating. It also said doubling the canopy cover to 5 million trees would reduce peak ozone levels by as much as 7% and in smoggy days by 50%. which is again, which is based on data which is now appearing in literature, which was not there earlier. We always felt as a common citizen, पेड़ लगाइए अच्छा रहेगा, atmosphere अच्छी रहेगी, it does all that what is needed. There was also a counter argument: when you have a lot of tall trees, then the air pollution dispersion does not happen, and therefore you create this called urban tunnel effect. So therefore we should not have trees. The counter argument I'm saying. But it's important to share data and information. Sometimes it does happen that you have trees, you have buildings, and wind does not move. That is possible. But just saying that trees doesn't have any usefulness is something which is very difficult to guess. These are top 10 dust control methods. It's again taken from multiple sources. Some of that picture I saw, that dust cannon, those cannon machine, mist cannon machine, they are not effective everywhere. So those mist cannon machines are effective where you have direct source of emission, meaning you have mining, you are crushing something, so you have large dust sources, if you apply it there. But for ambient air quality, I would say I should keep my hands crossed. So there are a lot of chemical and physical methods, and I thought I'll just share very quickly. So there are some chemicals which are hygroscopic. If you spray on dust generating sources, it will take moisture from atmosphere and keep the dust down. So in University of Minnesota, there are a lot of example. Wyoming state, which is a big mining state in the US, Australia, what they do is, if there's a train carrying a lot of coal or any other minerals which moving and is likely to create resuspension dust, on that whole train ka bogie, it's not tarpaulin, but they just spray this chemical. It's basically hygroscopic chemical, it's not harmful, but it keeps the dust level down because it's hygroscopic and keeping the dust going out in the atmosphere. So some piloting was done in Delhi and Mumbai as well on this. In MSME, I already said, each of these MSME, a small sector, we need to do more R&D to reduce cost. We understand technology, what will work and how will it work. Stubble burning, I'll not get into detail. What is important here to know is already in literature and also on platform like Amazon, you have some of these things available. And those who are, again I am saying those who are not little aware, when you do गोबर का जो कंडे होते हैं ना, उसको जब जलाते हैं तो उसमें धुआं निकलता है, and many people say that is what is polluting more, right? But that smoking period is just about 2 to 5 minutes, and all of that, if it is carbonized, rest of it is actually very helpful, and it's actually not polluting as much. So why can't we have technology for doing that gasification, that initial period of smoking which is happening is taken care of? And some of these are available in literature. I thought I'll just share with you people. Alibaba.com has cow dung gasifier power plant. Is there. There are some of them available in India, by the way. So the challenge here for all the people who are sitting here, because we also have Engineers Day, right? How do you reduce this cost? So that cow dung, which has been made as a culprit, as a villain, that cow dung लोग जलाते हैं, इसकी वजह से air pollution होता है यार, ऐसा वैसा, उसको नहीं करना चाहिए. There are many places where we are trying to ban cow dung. उसको we should not burn. We just need a small intervention of technology, and it is possible to do it. Similarly, IKEA as a company launched Made in India rice straw. तो ये जो straw हम लोग पीते हैं as a Pepsi Cola के साथ, all of those are possible to formulate into something which is easier to do. It's just that initially the cost would be higher, but if there is a policy push, if there is a push from user side as well, the chances are that acceptance will become much more as we go ahead. So lastly, couple of slides here. I thought on urban scale, when we are looking at air quality management program, we have to do all of them together. So we can't be saying, I have counted my chicken, but I don't know where they're going. So if I have done inventory, I must know from where it is coming, how it is going to be monitored, who is controlling it, and then go back in this whole counting process. So similarly, when we do all of these, at the end, what we need to have public participation cost benefit analysis, which I said earlier, कि every ton of particulate matter removed, how much money we spent and how much benefit we got. That calculation has still not happened, and I would request MS sir is sitting here, so I'm pushing many of these things. That's the way to communicate better way to public. Look, money was well spent, we achieved this much, and that's possible to do it. And in this cost benefit, health assessment becomes one of the major things. All our standard, environmental standards which were built in our country or any other country, the basic starting point was to prevent any health damage or health protection of human beings. But if you see, most of the time we are not bringing health as a component of our discussion, debate. I don't know how many, except some people maybe from medicine background here, but otherwise mostly doctors are missing in this conversation as we move forward. So that's why we say that in air quality management plan, what is important here is that look at strategies for each of these sectors. The suspension over wood dust, construction, tandoor stoves, and I give some examples how possibly that can be done and move forward. So in conclusion, I would say that if at all there are certain hotspots, there was a method, and I would say there was an example that Chembur was declared as a controlled area. And wherever we have hotspot, we must create that as a hotspot area declaration. The moment we do that, all the policies, intensive policy can be implemented there. And is my suggestion on that basis. Similarly, when we are looking at converting hotspot into non-hotspot area, the target is how much money, how much area, how much which airshed that we are talking about, and how likely we are going to get that. So that's why we say we should declare is clean air zones, low emission zones, congestion charging. All of these is a big laundry list, but I'm saying if we identify an area and we say in this area we will do first 3, in the other areas we will do the 4th, 5th, 6th, or something of that kind, which is likely to give me the benefit. So in NCAP was a good example, and I see that a lot of success has been achieved, but it could be even better. And all the learning that has happened in NCAP is something which we should not defend too much. We should say we have done great, but we can do better. And only when we have that acceptance of doing better, chances are that next phase of NCAP, whenever I would say it should not stop, it should continue, would be much more powerful. It will be able to give much better output per unit of money spent. I am always hopeful, and in air quality normally people do create scare. I always keep giving examples of how good you can be, you have been in the past, and chances are that we can be better. So thank you again to MPCB for inviting me for speaking to you.
Thank you so much, sir. Just give me one moment. The history, the geography, the science, the economics, the health, the engineering, and the social aspect. You will all agree with me. Dr. Rakesh Kumar sir has taken us through the entire aspects of air quality. Please give a big hand. And I would request our dynamic, disciplined, and able administrator, Dr. Avinash Dhagne sir, to felicitate Dr. Rakesh Kumar for his amazing speech. A round of applause, please. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much, sir. Moving on, we may hate them, we may love them, but we will never be able to ignore them. The media, the journalism, as it is said, we have amongst us a very distinguished speaker, Virat Singh ji. I would like to call upon our next speaker. He is from the media fraternity for a long time, but now he is an expert in communications. He represents ASAR, he is the head of communications, and he works on engagement strategies, holistic communications on air pollution. I would request Dr. Modgare to please welcome our next speaker, who's going to enlighten us with a lighter side of air pollution. But an equally important aspect of air pollution and air quality, which is communications and its importance in how we could manage air pollution. So please welcome our speaker, Virat Singh ji. So also I would like to mention here prominently that our program is being streamed online on the YouTube channel and the Facebook handle of MPCB. So you could communicate with your colleagues, with your friends, with your families to view the program online. Please. Virat sir.
Thank you so much. Namaskar everyone. Good afternoon. So, can I go to my presentation? Yes. Thank you so much. I will speak in Hindi and English. मराठी थोड़ी इतनी अच्छी नहीं है कि यहाँ बोल सकूं. अजय जी एक फोटो दिखा रहे थे, कुछ फोटोज दिखा रहे थे जो बच्चों ने आर्ट वर्क था उनका दिखा रहे थे. ये सिमिलर एक आर्ट वर्क है. मैं एक कंपटीशन जज करने के लिए गया था SNDT कॉलेज में. एक 9th स्टैंडर्ड की बच्ची श्रद्धा ने ये ड्राइंग बनाई थी एंड मैं इसको सिर्फ देख रहा था काफ़ी देर तक. आप लोग भी अगर इसे देखें तो इससे कितना सारा मैसेजेस हमें क्लियर हो जाता है कि किस तरीके से वो बच्चे ने सोचा होगा कि यू नो इट ऑल्सो इम्पैक्ट्स, मतलब ये उसे माँ की वूम में ये बच्चा है और किस तरीके से पोल्यूशन उसको भी इम्पैक्ट कर रहा है, वो धुएं में से ये निकल रहा है. आई थॉट दैट दिस वॉज एन अमेजिंग वे टू कम्युनिकेट. और जो राकेश कुमार सर ने अभी थोड़ी देर पहले इतनी सारी चीज़ें समझाई बताई, इन सब चीज़ों को कम्युनिकेट करना, एयर पोल्यूशन को कम्युनिकेट करना इज समथिंग दैट आई वांटेड टू टॉक अबाउट टुडे कि क्या क्या चीज़ें होंगी इसमें. Just to give a small background about my organization, I work with ASAR. It's a Bangalore-based development startup. We work on research, we work on air pollution, climate change, awareness, communication is a major part of our work. Can you all tell me what is this? आप में से सब लोग यहाँ पे वायरस एक्सपर्ट हैं, डॉक्टर हैं, सबने फटाफट देखते हुए बता दिया ये कोरोना वायरस है. क्यों, कैसे? मैं जब ये प्रेजेंटेशन बना रहा था, मेरी 7 साल की डॉटर आई थी और बोली कोरोना वापस आ रहा है क्या डैडी? मैं बोला नहीं. तो बोली ये क्यों देख रहे हो आप? आई मीन इमेजिन दिस इज द पावर ऑफ कम्युनिकेशन. क्या कोरोना आने के पहले हमें पता था इस, अगर मैं आपको ये स्ट्रक्चर दिखाता तो आप बोलते हैं क्या पत्थर के ऊपर कुछ लाल लाल लगा हुआ है, करेक्ट? बट आज हम ये फोटो देखते ही तुरंत का तुरंत बोलते हैं ये कोरोना वायरस है. हम में से किसी ने शायद वायरस के बारे में पढ़ाई नहीं की हो, स्कूल में पढ़ाई की हो, कॉलेज में पढ़ाई की हो थोड़ी बहुत, बट हम आइडेंटिफाई कर पाते हैं कोरोना को. दैट इज द पावर ऑफ कम्युनिकेशन. क्योंकि एक पीरियड था, अनफॉर्चुनेटली दैट वाज वन ऑफ द वर्स्ट पीरियड फॉर ऑल ऑफ अस, फॉर द एंटायर ह्यूमैनिटी. बट हमने इसको इतनी बार देखा, इतनी चीजें समझी कि मीडिया ने हमें कोरोना के ऊपर एक्सपर्ट बना दिया, हमें सारी चीजें पता चल गई. ये क्या हो रहा है, कोई बता सकता है मुझे? एग्जैक्टली आप लोग देखिए वर्ड टर्मिनोलॉजी. लॉकडाउन एक लाइफ का एक, अगर जैसे ही बोलते हैं लॉकडाउन के एक नया मीनिंग आ चुका है. दिस इज अगेन पार्ट ऑफ कम्युनिकेशन. ये हमें इतनी बार ये फोटो दिखाई गई, हमें बताया गया क्या हो रहा है. हमारे साथ भी ऐसा हुआ कि हमें ये चीज, अब हमें स्पेसिफिक टर्म्स मालूम है जो डॉक्टर्स और जो एक्सपर्ट्स यूज कर रहे हैं. दिस इज अगेन the way things were communicated to us, the way we started understanding things. हमें बताया गया कि मास्क कैसे पहनना चाहिए, हमें कम्युनिकेट किया गया हमें हाथ कैसे धोना चाहिए. बचपन में मॉम ने सिखाया था यार हाथ कैसे धोते हैं, आज वापस से इतने दिनों के बाद हमें बताया जा रहा है हाथ कैसे धोना चाहिए. इमेजिन इट वर्कड ऑन ऑल ऑफ अस. हमने इसे देखा, हमने इसे शेयर किया, हमने इसके बारे में बातें की कि भाई कैसे करना चाहिए. दिस 3 स्लाइड शोज कि दैट अगर कोई भी चीज, मतलब ऑफ कोर्स ये इतनी बड़ी ट्रेजेडी थी कि इसे जिस तरीके से लोगों को कंटिन्यूसली समझाया जा रहा था, उस वजह से और कंटिन्यूस जो देखा जा रहा था, ये कम्युनिकेट करते करते सबको पता चल गया था कि नल के नीचे जैसे ही हाथ आए सारे चीजें हमें अच्छे से साफ करनी है, सैनिटाइज कैसे करना है, मास्क कैसे पहनना है. इनफैक्ट मास्क अगर किसी ने गलत पहना होता है तो लोग भी आपस में बता देते भाई ये तुम्हारा मास्क पहनने का तरीका गलत है, व्हाट्सएप पे तुमको मैं भेजता हूं कैसे पहनते हैं. सो दैट इज द पावर ऑफ कम्युनिकेशन. सो कमिंग बैक टू आवर क्लीन एयर ऑब्जेक्टिव्स, अगर हम सिर्फ क्लीन एयर और कम्युनिकेशन को जोड़ें तो ऑब्जेक्टिव्स में यहाँ पे सारे के सारे लोग एयर पोल्यूशन एक्सपर्ट हैं, तो मैं उसमें ज़्यादा डिटेल में नहीं जाऊँगा, मैं कम्युनिकेशन से रिलेटेड बातें करूँगा. बट द फैक्ट रिमेन्स दैट आपकी एयर क्वालिटी इंप्रूवमेंट, एमिशन रिडक्शन, लेजिस्लेशन एंड पॉलिसी, रिसर्च एंड इनोवेशन, ग्रीन इनिशिएटिव्स, पब्लिक अवेयरनेस एंड एजुकेशन, मॉनिटरिंग एंड रिपोर्टिंग, इन सब का आप जब तक कम्युनिकेशन नहीं होगा, जब तक इनके बारे में लोगों को ज़्यादा से ज़्यादा जानकारी नहीं पहुँचेगी, हम क्लीन एयर ऑब्जेक्टिव को अचीव कैसे करेंगे. ये सारी जो चीज़ें हैं इनका कहीं ना कहीं रोल बनता है, और इनको एक्सप्लेन करने की जो रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी है वो भी एक बहुत अहम रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी है. हम साइंस की बात करते हैं, लेकिन साइंस को जब तक एक्सप्लेन नहीं करेंगे तब तक वो साइंस उतने कॉमन लोगों तक नहीं पहुंचेगी. दिस इज व्हाट आई वांटेड टू प्रूव विद दोस 3-4 स्लाइड्स दैट आई शोड यू, कि कोरोना के बारे में आज आपको सारी चीजें डिटेल में मालूम है. ओमाइक्रॉन आया, कितने वेरिएंट्स हैं, क्या है, हमें नाम ज़बानी याद हो गई थी, बिकॉज इट वॉज कंटिन्यूसली कम्युनिकेटेड टू अस. और इसी वजह से मैं एज अ कम्युनिकेटर या मैं एज कम्युनिकेशन के फील्ड में रहने पे मुझे लगता है कि ये बहुत ज़रूरी है कि हम क्लीन एयर के बारे में जब बात करते हैं तो इसे लोगों तक पहुँचाएं. और सबसे जो बड़ा रोल है इसमें वो मीडिया प्ले करती है. अजय जी ने एकदम सही कहा कि और इसमें मेरा थोड़ा एक्सपीरियंस इसलिए भी है क्योंकि मैं 14 साल जर्नलिज्म कर चुका, आई हैव बीन अ जर्नलिस्ट फॉर 14 ईयर्स विद प्रिंट मीडिया. और रिपोर्टिंग करते वक्त सबसे बड़ा जो चैलेंज आता था हमारे सामने वॉज वेन वी हैड टू रिपोर्ट ऑन वेदर एंड एयर क्वालिटी, सिंपली बिकॉज दिस इज एब्सोल्यूटली टेक्निकल सब्जेक्ट. इसे रिपोर्ट करना बहुत मुश्किल इसलिए हो जाता है, और इसीलिए आप बहुत कॉमन हेडलाइंस देखेंगे, बहुत टेक्निकल जार्गन्स इसमें आते हैं, इसलिए जर्नलिस्ट को वो रिपोर्ट करने की बहुत बहुत मुश्किल होती है. एंड ट्रस्ट मी, एज अ मतलब मैंने इंग्लिश न्यूज़पेपर्स में काम किया है, बहुत बार ये होता था कि चलिए जो लाइन मिल गई वो हम तुरंत का तुरंत वैसे लिख पाते थे, लेकिन जो हमारे कलीग्स थे जो रीजनल लैंग्वेज में थे, जो मराठी पेपर में थे, हिंदी पेपर में थे, उनके लिए इसको ट्रांसलेशन भी करना है, उन्हें एक टेक्निकल जार्गन को अंडरस्टैंड करना है और आगे जाके उसकी बात करनी है, उसे लोगों के लिए सिंप्लीफाई करके समझाना है. और जब तक हम इस पर ध्यान नहीं देंगे, हमारी मीडिया की रिपोर्टिंग, बहुत लोगों को लगता है कि मीडिया की रिपोर्टिंग जो हो रही है वो बहुत सही नहीं हो रही है, या उसमें पूरा प्रूफ या पूरा फैक्ट्स या पूरे डिटेल्स नहीं आ रहे. वो शायद इसलिए भी नहीं आ रहे कि हम उसे कम्युनिकेट नहीं कर पा रहे हैं मीडिया तक. ये क्या है? ये क्या है? ऑफ कोर्स ए के बाद बी आएगा, सी आएगा. ये क्या है? अरे ये नहीं पता आप लोगों को? ये कुछ नहीं है. हमें ए बी सी सिखाया गया इसलिए हम ए बी सी लिख लेते हैं, लेकिन जैसे ये आया इसे तो हमें शायद लगा ये ओ है, नहीं, लेकिन ओ में तो एक ही बार होगा, 3-4 बार नहीं होगा. तो ये क्या था? जर्नलिस्ट के लिए बहुत बार एयर क्वालिटी पे रिपोर्ट करना, क्लाइमेट पे रिपोर्ट करना, साइंस पे रिपोर्ट करना, ये है नहीं समझ में आता. क्योंकि एक जर्नलिस्ट सुबह एक पॉलिटिकल रिपोर्टिंग कर रहा है, शाम को शायद कल जैसे एक एयर फ्लाइट का कुछ हो गया उसके ऊपर भी रिपोर्ट करेगा, एंटरटेनमेंट वर्ल्ड में कुछ हो गया शायद उसके ऊपर भी रिपोर्ट करेगा, और उसे पता चलेगा कि यार शायद बहुत सारे लोग जा रहे थे और उन्हें वो सीलिंग से वर्ली की तरफ बहुत सारा धुंध दिख रहा था, इसलिए शायद एयर क्वालिटी बहुत खराब है, और उसे वो एयर क्वालिटी पे स्टोरी करने की बोली जाएगी और वो उसे फ़ोन करेगा, साइंटिस्ट को फ़ोन करेगा या किसी एक्सपर्ट को फ़ोन करेगा. और अगर जर्नलिस्ट तक सही इंफॉर्मेशन नहीं आएगी तो रिपोर्टिंग हमेशा ज़्यादा चांसेस है कि रिपोर्टिंग गड़बड़ हो जाएगी. इसकी वजह से और ये रिपोर्टिंग जब होती है, और ये मैं खाली सजेशन के हिसाब से, या जो सबसे ज़्यादा इम्पैक्ट होता है आपके की एक्सटर्नल इवेंट्स होते हैं, ग्लोबल मीटिंग्स है, कॉन्फ्रेंस होती है पोल्यूशन के ऊपर, ये सारा नरेटिव, पॉजिटिव नरेटिव, एक नरेटिव बिल्ड करने में बहुत ज़रूरी होता है. There are important days, World Environment Day, International Day of Clean Air for Blue Skies, World Pollution Day, Ozone Day. आज हम लोग यहाँ पे सब इकट्ठा हैं. Now, these days are when you should, मतलब when a body like MPCB or BMC or any corporation should approach journalists to talk about these subjects, because these are the days when the journalists need these stories. These are the days when there will be need for legit stories to file. Crisis communication एक बहुत important चीज़ हो जाती है, क्योंकि ये पीरियड आता है विंटर्स का, हमको पता है एयर पोल्यूशन इज नॉट जस्ट अ विंटर प्रॉब्लम, इट इज एन ऑल राउंड ईयर प्रॉब्लम. बट विंटर्स में ये बहुत ज़्यादा इशू, क्योंकि विजिबल बहुत ज़्यादा हो जाता है, तो इस वक्त ये कम्युनिकेशन करना जर्नलिस्ट के साथ, उनको इनफैक्ट इंपॉर्टेंट रिपोर्ट्स देना, उनको बताना क्या हो रहा है, ये बहुत ज़रूरी हो जाता है। पब्लिक इंटरेस्ट मैसेजिंग में जैसे हम कम्युनिकेशन की बात करते हैं तो हम सिर्फ मीडिया सोचते हैं, लेकिन आपके पास एक वाइड रेंज ऑफ ऑडियंस है, आपकी कॉमन पब्लिक है, उन तक पहुंचना बहुत ज़रूरी है। आपके पास माध्यम आज सब कुछ है, आपके पास ट्विटर है, इंस्टाग्राम है, हर एक माध्यम है आपके पास अवेलेबल, व्हाट्सएप ग्रुप्स हैं, तो ये बहुत बड़ा एक माध्यम बन जाता है। तो मीडिया से इंगेज करने के लिए ये सारे जो, चाहे व्हाट्सएप हो और ये सारे जो मैंने एक्टिविटीज़ आपको बताया, जब आपको कम्युनिकेशन देना है तो ये सारे टूल्स हैं उस इफेक्टिव मैनेजमेंट के लिए, एंगेजमेंट के लिए, कि आप प्रेस नोट्स इशू कर सकते हैं, प्रेस कॉन्फ्रेंस हो सकता है, ऑफिशियल एक्सेस टू ऑफिशियल्स बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट होता है कि लोग, जर्नलिस्ट जो रिपोर्ट करे वो एटलीस्ट वो ऑफिशियल तक पहुंच सके, इमेजेस शेयर करना, वीडियो शेयर करना, बहुत सारी चीज़ें इंपॉर्टेंट होती हैं। लेकिन मीडिया का अंडरस्टैंडिंग बढ़ाना या नैरेटिव चेंज करने में मीडिया वर्कशॉप्स एक बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट रोल प्ले करते हैं, क्योंकि जब तक मीडिया एयर क्वालिटी जैसे टेक्निकल सब्जेक्ट को समझेगा नहीं, उसे बहुत मुश्किल होगी इस पर रिपोर्ट करने में। एंड लकीली असर हम लोग कोशिश कर रहे हैं अलग अलग ऑर्गेनाइजेशन के साथ मिलके कि हम लोग ये करें। ये एक औरंगाबाद का मीडिया वर्कशॉप का है, जिसमें एक बहुत इंटरेस्टिंग चीज़ हुई। हमने जब एमपीसीबी के ऑफिशियल को इन्वाइट किया तो मुंडे जी आए थे वहाँ पे, और उन्होंने ये मोबाइल मॉनिटरिंग वैन लेके आ गया। अब जर्नलिस्ट इतना खुश हो गए कि उन्होंने आज तक ऐसा कोई मॉनिटरिंग वैन देखा नहीं था। इवन एज अ जर्नलिस्ट, एयर क्वालिटी एमपीसीबी कैसे मॉनिटर करता है या बीएमसी कैसे मॉनिटर करता है, शायद 14 साल में मेरे को भी कभी वो पता नहीं था। लेकिन आज अगर इसके बाद अगर आप एक इनिशिएटिव लें कि जर्नलिस्ट लोगों को लेके आए, दिखाएं कि कैसे वो मॉनिटरिंग होती है, कैसे एयर क्वालिटी में PM 2.5 है, क्या है, कैसे पता चलता है, ये जब जर्नलिस्ट को पता चलेगा उसकी रिपोर्टिंग बेटर हो जाएगी और ये जो बहुत सारी प्रॉब्लम्स होती है वो सॉल्व हो जाती है। PM 2.5 से मुझे एक चीज़ याद आई, जब ये मीडिया वर्कशॉप चल रहा था एक जगह पे, ये औरंगाबाद की फोटोज़ हैं, जब ये एक मीडिया वर्कशॉप हो रहा था एक शहर में, तो वहाँ पे एक एक्सपर्ट ने बातें शुरू की और बोला कि PM 10 और PM 2.5 के बारे में बात कर रहे थे। अचानक से एक जर्नलिस्ट ने पूछा कि सर 10 बजे के बाद क्यों पोल्यूशन बढ़ जाता है? तो उन्होंने बोला नहीं, मैंने ऐसा नहीं कहा कि 10 बजे के बाद बढ़ जाता है। उन्होंने कहा नहीं सर, आपने कहा PM 10 PM के बाद पोल्यूशन बढ़ जाता है। काफ़ी लोग वहाँ पे हंस रहे थे, शायद ये था, लेकिन सब लोग ने सोचा कि आप सोचिए, एक जर्नलिस्ट को दिक्कत होती है समझने में कि PM 10 क्या है, क्योंकि हम इस भाषा को रेगुलर यूज़ करते रहते हैं। PM 2.5 PM 10 मेरे लिए बहुत ईजी है, या आप लोगों के लिए एज अ साइंटिस्ट बहुत ईजी है, लेकिन जब एक जर्नलिस्ट को समझाना है तो आपको शायद ये सोचना पड़ेगा कि शायद उसने PM 10 शायद पहली बार अपनी लाइफ में वो सुन रहा है, या उसे पता भी नहीं है PM 10 क्या है। और बिकॉज आप साइंटिस्ट हैं, वो जर्नलिस्ट को भी हिचकिचाहट होती है कि मैं पूछूं कि सर ने तो 500 बार PM 10 PM 2.5 बोल दिया, अब मैं सर को कैसे पूछूं कि सर PM 10 काय होतं, PM 10 आपण कसं मापू शकतो, या उसका क्या ये रेगुलेशन है। सर को लगेगा कि ये जर्नलिस्ट को तो कुछ आता ही नहीं है, तो जर्नलिस्ट के मन में भी ये हिचकिचाहट होती है। तो ये बहुत ज़रूरी है कि जर्नलिस्ट के लिए जो वर्कशॉप्स हों उसमें डिटेल्स में सारे एक्सप्लेनेशंस हों, उन्हें बताया जाए। हम लोगों ने एक बुक बनाई, जाणून घ्या हवा प्रदूषण। इसमें ट्राई किया कि जर्नलिस्ट के लैंग्वेज में, क्योंकि हमारा एक्सपीरियंस है उस तरीके का रिपोर्टिंग करने का, तो इसमें थोड़े से ड्राइंग्स और थोड़ा इन्फॉर्मेशन लेके हमने ये बुकलेट्स हर एक मीडिया वर्कशॉप में हम लोग डिस्ट्रीब्यूट करते हैं। तो मीडिया का तो ये रह गया। पब्लिक अवेयरनेस कैंपेन्स बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट होती हैं। आप सब जब ये ग्लास का पानी देखेंगे, कोई सोचेगा भी नहीं इसको पीने की, लेकिन हवा वहीं पे धूल मट्टी सब हवा में रहती है, धुआं रहता है। हम नहीं सोचते कि कि कैसे हम इसमें सांस लें। हम कभी सोचेंगे भी नहीं कि बच्चों को वो पानी शायद ना पिलाएं, लेकिन अगर धूल है उसके पास जाने दें। तो जब हम कम्युनिकेशन की बात कर रहे हैं तो मीडिया तो एक बहुत बड़ा पार्ट है कम्युनिकेशन का, क्योंकि मीडिया आपका कम्युनिकेशन, आप जो बताना चाहते हैं वो आम जनता तक लेके जाएगा। डेफिनेटली इट विल टेक इट टू पीपल, बट द पब्लिक कैंपेन्स और पब्लिक जो आपका एक ऑडियंस है, वो एक बहुत बड़ा ऑडियंस ऑलरेडी आपके पास है। क्योंकि कभी कभार आप अगर इनको ज्यादा अच्छे से समझा देंगे तो शायद मीडिया भी उसके थ्रू उनसे अच्छे से समझ पाएगा इस चीज को। तो ये बहुत जरूरी है कि पब्लिक और कैंपेन्स बहुत जरूरी हैं। और टाइम चेंज हो रहा है। आप लोग में से कितने लोग वो दीवार पे वो मैसेज देखते हैं, प्लीज डोंट टेक मी अदरवाइज, बट वो मैसेज देखते हैं सेव अर्थ सेव प्लैनेट। अब नहीं चलता, वो रील का जमाना है। ठीक है, हम लोग सब कुछ आज रील में देखना चाहते हैं। जब हम उसे कंज्यूम नहीं करते, जब हम उस कैंपेन्स को नहीं देखते, तो हम कैसे एक्सपेक्ट करते हैं कि सारे लोग उसको देखेंगे। कम्युनिकेशन हैज टू बी इनोवेटिव नाउ। मेरी 7 साल की बेटी को मेरे से पूछती है कि आप इंस्टाग्राम पे हो डैडी, तो उसे उतना अभी 7 साल में सब समझ में आ रहा है। अब हम सिंपल मैसेजिंग या आई लव माई अर्थ से नहीं चलेगा, हमें इनोवेटिव कैंपेन सोचने पड़ेंगे। उसमें से एक चीज़ों का एग्जाम्पल, मतलब बहुत सारे हैं, लेकिन मैं बिकॉज ये चीज़ के बारे में मुझे बहुत अच्छे से पता है, हमने किया हुआ है, तो इसलिए मैं इसके शेयर कर रहा हूँ। बट बहुत सारे इनोवेटिव कैंपेन हो सकते हैं। ये एक लंग बिलबोर्ड हम लोगों ने क्रिएट किया था, और ये बेसिकली कोई बड़ा चीज़, इसमें कोई रॉकेट साइंस नहीं है। ये एक बोर्ड है, ऊपर जो लगे हुए हैं ये फॉक्स लंग्स, ये फॉल्स लंग्स हैं, इनके पीछे एग्जॉस्ट फैन लगा हुआ है। ये टिपिकली हवा अंदर खींचता है, और जो मटेरियल है वो हेपा फिल्टर्स है, जो बेसिकली आपके फिल्टर मतलब मास्क में यूज होता है। इसे खारगर, मुंबई, दिल्ली, बहुत सारे शहरों में रखा गया। और बिकॉज जब ये चालू रहता है, लोग इसे आके देख रहे हैं, लोग समझ रहे हैं क्या है, और वो धीरे धीरे वाइट से ब्लैक होना शुरू हो जाता है। ये जो 6 डेज है, ऑफकोर्स आपको बताने की जरूरत नहीं है कहाँ का होगा, ये दिल्ली का है। तो दिल्ली में 6 डेज में ब्लैक हो गया। फोकस हमारा ये नहीं कि कितना दिन में काला हो जाए, लेकिन जब ये लंग्स बिलबोर्ड लगा है, बहुत सारे लोग वहां पे आते हैं, बहुत सारे लोग पूछते हैं ये क्या है, और उन्हें ये एक्सप्लेन करना कि जो शायद जो पोल्यूशन है, जो रोड डस्ट है, या जो आप मतलब अगर इसको देखें तो आपको समझ में आएगा कि भाई किस तरीके से हेल्थ इंपैक्ट है। क्योंकि जैसे ही आप एयर पोल्यूशन को टेक्निकल डिटेल्स में बोलेंगे, PM 2.5, PM 10, लोगों का अटेंशन वहां से चला जाएगा, और लोग जब तक आप उनके हेल्थ के बारे में नहीं बात करेंगे कि किस तरीके से एयर पोल्यूशन आपके हेल्थ को इंपैक्ट करता है, वो नहीं सुनेंगे। तो ये दिल्ली का लंग बिलबोर्ड था, ये हमने एक प्रोजेक्ट किया था। स्कूल के बच्चे आए, साइकिलिस्ट आए ये लंग देखने के लिए। बांद्रा नेशनल कॉलेज के बाहर लगा हुआ था, BMC का हेल्प था, MPCB ने सपोर्ट किया था, रेडियो पार्टनर्स थे। तो अब इसमें बच्चे आके पूछ रहे हैं कि क्या है लंग्स में हमारे। कुछ लोगों ने पूछा कि एक्चुअली हमारे लंग्स काले हो जाते हैं, नहीं। तो उन्होंने पल्मोलॉजिस्ट ने उन्होंने बोला कि नहीं, दिस इज द क्लोजेस्ट व्हाट यू कैन शो टू पीपल टू अंडरस्टैंड दैट यू नो व्हाट इज हैपनिंग, हाउ हेल्थ इंपैक्ट्स ऑफ एयर पोल्यूशन के बारे में। बहुत सारी जगहों पे इसको काफ़ी सपोर्ट मिला। ये जस्ट एक एग्जांपल है, कितने दिन कहाँ हमने रांची में लगाया, चंद्रपुर में लगाया, खारगर में लगाया, मुंबई में, लखनऊ में। तो इनोवेटिव कैंपेन्स बहुत ज़रूरी हैं। रिसेंटली अभी सिटीजन एंगेजमेंट कैंपेन के उस पर हमने टुगेदर फॉर क्लीन एयर करके किया, जिसमें लोग अपनी सेल्फी अपलोड कर रहे थे विद टुगेदर फॉर क्लीन एयर। अब ये इसलिए कहा कि अब लोगों को इनोवेटिव कैंपेन्स के बारे में बहुत ज़्यादा इंटरेस्ट होता है, समझना होता है। सबसे इंपॉर्टेंट जो मैं मानता हूं, मीडिया तो है, पब्लिक है, लेकिन सबसे ज्यादा जरूरी है बच्चे। उनसे आप जितना कम्युनिकेट करेंगे, जितने इनोवेटिवली आप उनसे कम्युनिकेट करेंगे, उतना ज्यादा हमारे लिए इसको आगे तक समझाना या लोगों तक पहुंचना बहुत आसान हो जाएगा। ये बच्चा रुस्तम जी इंटरनेशनल स्कूल का बच्चा है, इसने एयर क्वालिटी मॉनिटर बनाया था और वो मेजर कर रहा था उस चीज पे। ही मस्ट हैव बीन इन 10th स्टैंडर्ड और 11th स्टैंडर्ड, प्रॉब्ली 9th-10th स्टैंडर्ड। बट उसकी सोच आप सोचिए, उसने ऑलरेडी वो अगरबत्ती लगा के वो दिखा रहा था कि कितना, उसने कुछ ऐप जैसा बनाया था, एंड ही वाज डूइंग इट एट दैट एज। ये एक वीडियो था जिसमें एयर क्वालिटी के बारे में 3 कैरेक्टर्स क्रिएट किए थे, और उसमें से 2 कैरेक्टर बात कर रहे हैं कि AQI क्या होता है, और उसको बच्चों की लैंग्वेज में उसे समझाने की कोशिश की। ड्राइंग कंपटीशन में देख रहा था, एंड आई जस्ट लव्ड। आप सबको इमेजेस देखिए, उसमें एक इमेज था जो अजय जी दिखा रहे थे, जिसमें एक लेडी है, उसकी साड़ी के जैसे उसका जो पूरा एक था, उसमें सारे फ्लैग्स बने हुए थे। मतलब वो बच्चा कोशिश कर रहा है समझाने की कि ये जो एयर क्वालिटी का इशू है वो शायद सारे कंट्रीज को साथ में आके, या मतलब जो भी एनवायरमेंट के इश्यूज हैं सबको साथ में आके। तो क्रिएटिविटी इतनी बढ़िया होती है कि जितने शायद अगर यहाँ पे कोई बच्चे प्रेजेंटेशन देते तो शायद हम लोगों को और ज्यादा समझ में आता और ज्यादा अच्छे से हम उसको सोच सकते थे। इमेजिन कॉलिंग दीज किड्स और उनको बोलते हैं आप अपना ये फोटो एक्सप्लेन करो। रात हम लोग तो अक्सर बात करते रहते हैं एज साइंटिस्ट, एज कम्युनिकेटर्स, एज रिसर्चर्स, हम तो हमेशा स्टेज पे आके बात करते रहते हैं। बट ये बच्चों को समझाने ही दिया जाए, कितना मजा आएगा सुनने के लिए बच्चों से कि वो क्या सोच रहे हैं एयर क्वालिटी और एयर पोल्यूशन के बारे में या एनवायरमेंट के इश्यूज के बारे में। तो बच्चों के साथ काम करना बहुत जरूरी है, और इट इज क्वाइट एन इंपॉर्टेंट थिंग। हेल्थ एडवाइजरी अनदर थिंग। जब हम कम्युनिकेशन की बात करते हैं और खास करके क्लीन एयर की बात करते हैं, तो एक जो सबसे इंपॉर्टेंट इशू आता है, जो मुझे लगता है कि बहुत जरूरी है इसको कम्युनिकेशन फ्रेम में लाने का और इसको लार्ज स्केल लोगों तक पहुंचाने का, मीडिया तक पहुंचाने का, इज गिविंग हेल्थ एडवाइजरीज ऑन एयर क्वालिटी। विंटर सीजन अप्रोच होने वाला है। ये IITM के एक साइंटिस्ट एक प्रेजेंटेशन दे रहे थे, वहां से मैंने देखा कि मुझे पता भी नहीं था कि मुंबई में आप एक्चुअली आपके पास है, जिसमें आपको एयर क्वालिटी का मतलब एयर क्वालिटी फोरकास्ट आपको मिल जाता है 1 दिन पहले। IITM का ये प्रोजेक्ट है। इमेजिन करिए अगर ये ज़्यादा से ज़्यादा ULBs, ये ज़्यादा से ज़्यादा मतलब चाहे वो अलग अलग सिटीज़ के हों या हमारे जो MPCB, अगर इसे रेगुलरली ट्वीट करने लगे या कोई डैशबोर्ड बने जिस पे ये मैसेजिंग जाए, वहां से सारे के सारे जर्नलिस्ट, वेदर रिपोर्ट्स आप पढ़ते होंगे, चांद इतने बजे राइज है, सूरज इतने बजे डूबा, और सनसेट इतना बजे सनराइज, सब कुछ वेदर का आता है। वो कहाँ से आता है? वो आईएमडी से आता है। आईएमडी ने एक मीडिया के लिए व्हाट्सएप ग्रुप बनाया है जो कि बहुत इफेक्टिव हो गया है मीडिया के लिए। उस पे सारे के सारे मीडिया पर्सन हैं और वो लोग हर जगह का रेनफॉल कितना हुआ, वहां पे कितना ह्यूमिडिटी है, कितना टेम्परेचर, मैक्सिमम मिनिमम, सब शेयर करते हैं। अगर ऐसा चीजें मीडिया के साथ शेयर की जाए तो आई एम श्योर रिजल्ट विल बी समथिंग लाइक दिस। प्रभात खबर एक लीडिंग न्यूज़पेपर है झारखंड और बिहार का, उन्होंने ऐसा स्ट्रिप बनाना शुरू कर दिया और वो कैरी कर रहे थे कंटिन्यूसली न्यूज़पेपर में, ताकि लोगों के लिए एक क्लियर हो कि भाई कैसा क्या क्या तरीके का एयर वो ब्रीथ कर रहे हैं। सो एयर क्वालिटी हेल्थ एडवाइजरी, मुझे लगता है कि ये लोगों को भी और क्रिएटिव और अवेयर करेगा। और एयर क्वालिटी जो खराब होगी, शायद कुछ लोग कचरा जला रहे हैं, शायद कुछ लोग मतलब मैक्सिमम आज वेस्ट बर्निंग इज अ मेजर इशू चारों तरफ आप देखिए। तो अगर इसको कंटिन्यूसली हाईलाइट किया जाए तो शायद लोग उसे समझेंगे और लोग उसमें ध्यान रखेंगे कि भाई एयर क्वालिटी इंप्रूवमेंट में मेरा कितना बड़ा रोल है। मुझे कचरा नहीं जलाना है, मुझे अपने बालकनी में या गार्डन में जो वेस्ट जनरेट होता है उसका सबसे आसान तरीका क्या है मैनेज करने का? उसे जला दो, टायर जला दो। तो इससे पब्लिक में भी काफी सारी अवेयरनेस आएगी। ऑफ कोर्स ये ऐसे जो कंसल्टेशन वर्कशॉप्स हैं, जो टाउन हॉल्स होते हैं, ये सब का भी एक बहुत बड़ा रोल होता है कम्युनिकेशन में, कि जितना ज़्यादा से ज़्यादा ऐसे सेशंस होते हैं उसमें उसका अगेन मीडिया रिपोर्टिंग करती है और उसके बारे में लोगों को समझ में आता है। तो अगेन कम्युनिकेशन में ये सारी चीज़ें एक बहुत अहम रोल प्ले करती हैं। वी हैव द मिशन लाइफ नाउ। मिशन लाइफ को यूज़ करते हुए कितनी सारी मैसेजिंग, कितने सारी चीज़ें यूज़ हो सकती हैं to communicate to the children, to communicate to the larger audience. सिंपल ये दो इमेजेस हैं, ये लॉकडाउन की इमेज है, ये लॉकडाउन के बाद की इमेज है। और सिंपल आप अगर इसे सोचें कि कम्युनिकेशन का अगर कंटिन्यूअस कम्युनिकेशन होता रहा लोगों के साथ, तो उसके सबसे बड़े बेनिफिट्स तो एक है कि लोगों में बिहेवियर चेंज होगा, लोगों की बिहेवियर चेंज होगी। बिकॉज आप कंटिन्यूस अगर आप उनको बता रहे हैं, जैसे कोरोना के वक्त में सब मास्क पहनना शुरू कर दिए थे और जो नहीं पहन रहा है उसके पीछे पड़ जाते थे लोग, उसी तरीके से एयर पोल्यूशन के ऊपर, और क्योंकि एयर पोल्यूशन इज एज सीरियस एज समथिंग, आई मीन आई एम नॉट अ टेक्निकल पर्सन बट आई स्टिल विल कैन से दैट एटलीस्ट हेल्थ लेवल पे तो उतना ही बड़ा स्केयर है हमारे लिए और डेली का स्केयर है हमारे लिए। तो आप अगर इसे हम कंटिन्यूस बोलें, जो कचरा जलाने से लेके बाकी सारी वेस्ट मैनेजमेंट से लेके सारी चीज़ों पे अगर हम कंटिन्यूस फोकस करें कि किस तरीके से एयर क्वालिटी खराब कर रहा है, तो एक मेजर बिहेवियर चेंज हो सकता है। पॉलिसी सपोर्ट ऑफ कोर्स, क्योंकि कंटिन्यूस अगर प्रेशर रहेगा पब्लिक का तो एक पॉलिसी सपोर्ट मिलती है। और हम लोग कम्युनिटी एंगेजमेंट में काफ़ी यूज़ कर सकते हैं, कम्युनिटीज़ को एम्पावर करना, कि किस तरीके से ये कर सकते हैं। तंदूर के बारे में सर ने बताया अभी थोड़ी देर पहले कि तंदूर कितना बड़ा एक इशू है, बेकरीज वैसे ही हैं। तो ये सारी चीज़ें कम्युनिटी चेंज उसी वहीं से एंगेजमेंट से शुरू हो सकती हैं अगर हम कंटिन्यूस कम्युनिकेट करें तो। सिंपल, मेरे पास 15 मिनट 20 मिनट में मुझे पूरे कम्युनिकेशन का वाइड वर्ल्ड कवर करना था, तो सिंपल मैं कहूँगा कम्युनिकेशन के लिए कम्युनिकेट रिलेंटलेसली। आप कंटिन्यूस कोई भी चीज़ है, जब तक आप मैसेज जो आपका है, जब तक आप हैमर नहीं करेंगे लोगों तक, वो नहीं पहुंचेगा। सिंप्लीफाई एंड बी डायरेक्ट, जितना सिंप्लीफाई करेंगे आप लोगों को आपका कम्युनिकेशन, स्पेसिफिकली अगर वो एयर पोल्यूशन जैसा कॉम्प्लिकेटेड सब्जेक्ट है, उसे जितना आप सिंप्लीफाई करके लोगों को समझाएंगे, लोग भी समझेंगे, मीडिया भी उसे बहुत आसानी से रिपोर्ट करेगी। लिसन एंड एनकरेज इनपुट इज द वाइटल थिंग अगेन, बिकॉज जब तक आप सुनेंगे नहीं तब तक आपको ये नहीं पता चलेगा कि हम इंप्रूव कहाँ हो सकते हैं या लोगों का एक्चुअली क्या चाहिए। हमें तो लगता है हमने सब कर दिया है, लेकिन अगर हम लोगों से सुनेंगे तो शायद हमें ज़्यादा अच्छी जानकारी होगी और हम एक्सप्लेन कर सकते हैं। इलस्ट्रेट थ्रू स्टोरीज, थ्रू कैंपेन्स, जैसे हमने देखा कि अभी काफ़ी सारे फोटोज़ देखे, बहुत सारा सर ने राकेश सर ने एक बहुत अच्छी बात कही कि हम लोग ये मीडिया वर्ड में, मीडिया बहुत बार हम लोग ये यूज़ करते हैं कि नेगेटिव स्टोरी तो ढूंढना हमारा काम होता है, एटलीस्ट पॉजिटिव स्टोरीज तो आप बता दीजिए। तो ये जो इंपॉर्टेंट होता है कि बहुत बार पॉजिटिव स्टोरीज भी बाहर नहीं आती हैं, क्योंकि शायद वो कम्युनिकेशन नहीं आ रहा है या कम्युनिकेट नहीं हो पा रहा है। तो अगर पॉजिटिव स्टोरीज अगर कॉर्पोरेशन या पोल्यूशन कंट्रोल बोर्ड्स पूरे कंट्री में अगर ये शेयर करना शुरू करेंगे, भाई हमने ये काम किया और देखिए इसका रिजल्ट ऐसा आ रहा है, तो पॉजिटिव स्टोरीज, बहुत चेंबूर का जैसे एक एग्जाम्पल दिया, तो कितना बड़ा वो एग्जाम्पल है और उसे किस तरीके से प्रेजेंट किया जाए वो बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट है। तो स्टोरीज के थ्रू इलस्ट्रेट करना बहुत जरूरी है, एंड ऑफ कोर्स अफर्मिंग इट विद एक्शन इज वेरी क्रूशल, ताकि वो दिखे कि एक्शन हो रहा है ये सारी चीजों पे। कम्युनिकेशन का मेन चीज मुझे लगता है, वापस से ये दूसरी इमेज थी जो बच्चे ने बनाई थी, we have to finally look deeper, because somewhere within that, in the depth is the problem. जो overall आपका सारा का सारा communication better कर सकता है, चीज़ों को change कर सकता है. तो we all have to look deeper for not only that plastic which is there in our environment, but also for overall suggestions, overall bettering our own selves, bettering our communication as a whole. Thank you so much to MPCB, of course, and Ajay ji for inviting me here, and aap sabhi logon ko for patiently listening to this fast-paced thing, because I wanted to finish in time, but still I've taken some extra time. Thank you so much, everyone.
Virat ji, this calls for all of us to rethink about our communication skills. You have been an excellent speaker, no doubt about it. I had an idea, we did some experiment, and for all of you, I think, Virat ji, we should work together to make a face of the city. It will smile when the air quality is good, it will cry when the air quality is bad. How does that sound? It could be made in the industry, so that communication has to come out from within, as he's rightly pointed out, that we have to look deeper for communication purposes. I would like to request our own Dr. Avinash Dhakne sir to felicitate our speaker Virat, and I'm sure each one of you would have enjoyed this session with Virat. Please reflect your enjoyment with a round of applause. Thank you, sir. Thank you, Virat ji. An actress, a writer, a speaker, a poet, a newsreader, all in one speaker, representing Terre policy. We have amongst us a very distinguished speaker for our next session, Dr. Vinita Apte ji. Who has been awarded year on year for her work, tremendous work in ozone. And I'm sure she would enlighten us with an amazing concept of what the difference is between tropospheric and stratospheric ozone and the policies. A lot of people are still confused, what is good ozone, what is bad ozone, and so on. I would request Modgare sir is here? No, okay. I would request Dr. Rakesh Kumar to please welcome our speaker, because Rakesh Kumar, I feel very homely because he's part of all of us. Please welcome Dr. Vinita Apte. So be prepared. We are going to go from air pollution to one step ahead, above probably in the space now, and talking about ozone and how it's so important for all of us. Please welcome Vinita Apte ji for a session.
Good afternoon. Thanks for the very apt introduction. And thank you, Rakesh sir. I think हमारा कुछ पुराने क्या बोलते हैं, it's a reincarnation, because everywhere where I am, you were also there, and you are always welcome me for the sessions. So Rakesh ji and me, we were together since last 20 years or so. We know each other, and he always steals my presentations, because earlier he talked a very nice presentation to everyone, which is focusing on not only the air pollution, but for the whole climate, which is changing fast, and what we need to do in this scenario. He explained very well. I think he is a great teacher, friend, philosopher for every one of us. And Virat ji ka presentation, which was again a great presentation. I am from the communication background, and what he said that during the Corona time, everyone, even the bachcha janta tha what is that figure is, but I wanted to focus on something other than that, that everyone knows that virus. Though we are not a biological student, or though we were not even the doctors, but there was a life threat. And that's why everyone knows how to behave in the Corona times. So when this ozone hole is described, and it is happened to be in front of every country, every world was running after to control that ozone hole. Why? Because there was a life threat. The experts told that if the ozone hole will get increased, people will lose their eyesight. There will be a possibility of skin cancers, and so on. So when there is some life threat or something which is cursing you for the day-to-day business, then only the people will act upon. And that tendency we need to change. We have to act. We have to implement the strategies which are planned, which the policy makers have done, and which will help us to give the better environment, give the sustainable environment, and the sustainable development. My learned anchor told that I'm going to tell you the difference between ozone, which is the good ozone and which is the bad ozone. When I was working in United Nations Environment Program in ozone cell, I was in the ozone layer. And through that, I could see the whole atmosphere was very nice, blue, green. And I could stay over there in the stratospheric ozone, and I'm enjoying the life. But it was not correct. The correct thing which we have conveyed to the children, to the students from the ozone action cell, which is through the education packs. But now, as everyone knows, the Montreal Protocol is the successful treaty among all the treaties. And we are struggling for now Kyoto Protocol, climate change. And this will happen only if you see at the ozone depleting substances, on the chemical side, carbon dioxide. And for that, I have only a small theory, which I want to tell you. Because as I said, that we need to implement what we want to do it. If you want a green, blue, and nice environment, a nice earth, then you have to implement what needs to do from today, from the moment now. I represent my organization, TER Policy Center. TER means Earth in French, and we stand for Technology, Education, Research, and Rehabilitation for the Environment. So we implement everything, what we practice, what we preach. And for me, my small theory is if you want a sustainable development, you need to look at the word sustain. And if you adopt it, then you need not to do anything. So I just tell you what you need to sustain, means S is for stream. You need to sustain and save the streams in nearby us. You will feel that you are going to save the ocean. So sustaining stream, urbanization, the word sustain contains you also. So U is urbanization. So control the urbanization. Rakesh ji told everything about how the air is polluting because of the urbanization and what we need to control. So migration for the villages or reverse migration is very important, and controlling urbanization is important in that sustain. The third word is surrounding, S-U-S. So you need to take your surrounding. Caution of surrounding means everyone, if we think that we have a earth just round about our feet. So you have to take care of surrounding of your feet And every earth, all the earth and every kind of surrounding will get clean and neat. The T is for tolerance. We are very much tolerated for everything. But right from now, no nonsense. You should not tolerate any nonsense who is doing around you, everywhere, in all of the world. If you see anything is going wrong, please don't tolerate. And you will get a good earth. The next word is A. A means act. You act upon what you think. You act upon what are the policies saying. You act for the good air, good water, and good breath. Because the air, the nice air or clean air is our birthright. The next word is I. I means innovation. Make the innovation in every part so that you can sustain what you are doing. The sustainable development is always depend on the innovations. There are number of innovations coming up through the researchers, but it is not coming up to the mark, and it is not coming towards to the people. So media needs to do that. Innovation should reach to the grassroots level. And the last word is nature-based solutions. So if you go for the nature-based solutions, you will get more and more good layer of environment, good layer of pollution. And now you need not think about ozone depleting substances, because we are definitely in the world that where we are sustain whatever we have. Whatever we have a little, we can make it sustainable, and it will go to the grassroots and up till to the sky. So with this, I think our chief guest and people are here who are going to inaugurate today's session. So I will stop here. Yesterday, someone told me that you need to get the PowerPoint presentation. And it is, I feel PowerPoint presentations are very boring because I'm not that great like Rakesh sir, that he is definitely give the fantastic PowerPoint presentation. So I just ignored. I am little self-centered, and I wanted to implement whatever I do. So I feel that people should look at me and act upon. Thank you so much.
Madam, just give us 1 minute of yours. To think is good, but to act is better. That's the motto with which Madam has been talking with us. Madam, thank you so much for an enlightening talk. I would request Modgare sir to facilitate Vinita madam for her thought-provoking speech and sharing her experience of being in the ozone layer. What could be more interesting than that? Thank you so much. A round of applause for our speaker. I will, yeah. So we could close this out? Yeah. So, Sanjay sir, please.
Now I would say good afternoon to everybody. And today, the Environment and Climate Change Department, Government of Maharashtra and Maharashtra Pollution Control Board organized a conference to celebrate the occasion of International Day of Clean Air for Blue Skies, celebrated on 7th September 2023, and on the eve of World Ozone Day, which is celebrated on 16th September 2023. On both the occasion, today we have organized a conference. I would like to request Dr. Vidyanand Modgare to accompany all the dignitaries, Dr. Sanjay Mukherjee sir, Honorable Praveen Darade sir, Honorable Dr. Avinay Dhakne sir, please upon the stage. And Tamasoma Jyotirgamaya, lightning of lamp. This would be the inaugural ceremony of this conference. I would like to request all the dignitaries कि आपण या ठिकाणी दीप प्रज्वलन करा. तमसोमा ज्योतिर्गमय ऐसे हम हमेशा कहते हैं, इससे ही आज की इस कॉन्फ्रेंस का हम यहाँ उद्घाटन कर रहे हैं. Conference on the International Day of Clean Air for Blue Skies and World Ozone Day. Both these days focus on the air pollution and related problems, and it also underscores the direct impact of air pollution on human and ecosystem health and the shared responsibility to protect the atmosphere and ensure healthy air for everyone. So today we are debating and focusing number of topics. Dr. Rakesh Kumar. Now I would like to request all the dignitaries to have a seat, please. Now I request Honorable Thane sir to present the bouquet to Honorable Chief Guest, Dr. Sanjay Mukherjee sir. With the bouquet, one innovative memento and shawl. मैं ढाकणे सर को रिक्वेस्ट करता हूँ कि त्यांनी त्यांचं स्वागत करावं. This is a special khadi shawl is concept by Dr. Avinash Thane sir. मेरी मिट्टी मेरा देश वैसे ये खादी की शाल है और इनोवेटिव लैम्प. That's a Shrifad. Now I request to Thane sir to honor Praveen Darade sir. Give a big round of applause. He is Honorable Principal Secretary, Environment and Climate Change Department, Government of Maharashtra, and he is our backbone of the department. उनके लीडरशिप में हम यहाँ पे बहुत अच्छी तरह से काम कर रहे हैं, जो महाराष्ट्र पोल्यूशन कंट्रोल बोर्ड या एनवायरमेंट डिपार्टमेंट हो. I would like to request again Dr. Thane sir to Dr. Rakesh Kumar. He is a big man in all this air pollution remedies, solutions, and how to resolve the problem. He is an international personality. Now I would like to request Dr. Modugare ji to just give honor a bouquet to Honorable Thane sir. घर का स्वागत है. Now I would like to request Dr. Modugare ji, Dr. Vidyananda Modugare, he is a Joint Director, to introduce about the conference.
It's Happy Engineers Day today. On the occasion of the Engineers Day, our own fraternity from the administration, Dr. Sanjay Mukherjee, who belongs to my city of Nagpur, our chief guest, our chairman and principal secretary, Government of Maharashtra, Shri Praveen Darade sir, our member secretary, Dr. Avinash Thane sir, Rakesh Kumar sir, ex-director NIRI, all the attendees, participants, speakers, and our guests, and this is one of the kinds of conference we are organizing, MPCB is organizing since last 20 years. We are gathered here to celebrate the 4th annual International Day for Clean Air for Blue Skies with a focus theme on Together for Clean Air, which aims to highlight the urgent need for the stronger partnership increase investment and share responsibility for overcoming air pollution. It also underscores the direct impact of air pollution on human and ecosystem health and share responsibility to protect the atmosphere and ensure the healthy air for everyone. The International Day for Clean Air for Blue Sky is commensurate annually on the 7th September is recognized in the recognition of the fact that clean air is important for the health and day to lives for the people, while air pollution is the single greatest environmental risk to the human health. On the other hand, ozone depleting substance has been used in many sectors and products that permeate our daily lives. Their phase out has resulted in changes to the production and consumption patterns and stimulated more efficient production process as well as innovative redesign of the products equipment to the greater greener chemical. Theme for 2023 International Day for the Preservation of Ozone Layer is to mark the World Ozone Day is Montreal Protocol on the fixing of the ozone layer and reducing the climate change. Air pollution is a transboundary. All stakeholders have a responsibility to protect the Earth's atmosphere and ensure the healthy air for everyone, working together across borders and boundaries between sectors and beyond the silos will help to reduce the air pollution. Time and again, Maharashtra is one of the vibrant and largest economic contributor to the Indian GDP, has taken lead in pioneering the accepting the challenge and compliance of the newer creation to share the responsibility of the Indian government. Maharashtra Pollution Control Board is one being the most important regulator to provide a safe environment. Is imperative that initiative and participation ensure through the sensitization and awareness building program for the further advancement in the global efforts. I would like to emphasize we have organized the competition for the school children, students, posters and Rangoli competition based on the themes of this year International Clean Air Day and Ozone Day, and within a span of 7 days we got nearly 500 entries all over Maharashtra, including Adivasi school, including Tamil Nadu and Odisha. I am honored to say that our efforts have reached not only throughout the state, but beyond that awareness is being created through competition like this at very young age. We'll shortly see the details of the competition along with results. I must say that all students have really taken a lot of efforts to be a part of this competition. Without taking much time, I would again welcome all our dignitaries and attendees to this program, which is commensurate with the International Clean Air Day and Ozone Day. Thank you.
There is good phrase in English that the key doesn't open the door. Key doesn't open the door. The man who handling the key open the door. Open the door. So the every problem itself having a good solutions, but we need to see in that manners. So that the man who behind of this member secretary of the Maharashtra Pollution Control Board, I would like to request Honorable Dr. Avinash Dhakane sir to deliver an address, please.
Namaskar, Vande Mataram. Chief guest of the today's function, Dr. Sanjay Mukherjee, Metropolitan Commissioner, MMRDA, Honorable Shri Praveen Darade ji, Principal Secretary, Environment and Climate Change, Government of Maharashtra, Shri Rakesh Kumar ji, former Director, NEEDI and current OSD in CSIR, my colleague Dr. Mudgare, my other colleagues sitting over here, all the dignitaries present for this function. There are so many days which we celebrate. Every day is some day. So here also 7th of September was a National Clean Air Day, and tomorrow it's the 16th September is a Ozone Day. So we are celebrating both the days today, that is on 15th of September. Why do we celebrate all these days? Just to remember that there is some duty which every citizen on, if it is a national day in India and when it is global, then all global citizens, they have certain duties toward the environment and towards other living beings. As Madam was telling about the success of Montreal Protocol, when everybody, I mean, that kind of fear was there in mind, and that's why it became successful. In the initial phase of Corona, what Mr. Singh was telling, that how you remember everything now, but initial phase of Corona, I mean, sir was a medical education secretary that time, and I was a collector in Jalgaon. You have to force people to wear masks, then use sanitizers and all that. That was the first phase, that don't gather. People used to go to markets with, with medicine strip and all that. So that was the first phase. But in second phase, everybody realized that if you don't follow, then you are going to die. Not going to hospital, but you are going to. And second phase shown us that, I mean, there were no beds available, no oxygen. I was involved with the transportation of oxygen. So we remember those days. So here also, right communication strategy is very important, because we all know the threat. When threat is known, then you need to react to it, respond to it in a right manner. That rightly Mr. Singh has emphasized that communication strategy needs to be changed according to the circumstances. Like AIDS, how much we have spent on AIDS? Just communication. I mean, we have spent much more on communication than actual medicines. But that is the right way of doing the things. Similarly here, I mean, everybody knows that there is a problem, particularly with air and water pollution. However, response to it is not up to the mark. I don't know how Agra fared second in national competition. Dr. Rakesh Kumar was also skeptical about it, because we all know Agra. Sometime in our life we have visited Agra. But if it is so, then it's good. Then it is example to emulate for everyone. Because I mean, long back I have seen cities of Bhopal and Indore, and if we visit cities of Indore and Bhopal today, really we feel proud. Go to a smallest of the mohalla, gully, you will find that it is clean. So change can happen. Even in Mumbai, New Mumbai, this is much cleaner than many other cities. So it's possible. It is not that, I mean, demonstration is there. But others have to follow it with this kind of seminars. Yesterday also we had a seminar on POPs. We use a lot of short forms. Even for a newcomer like me, I had to Google it many times and see what are those. So rightly said in the communication lecture that you need to simplify those things so that it reaches to the right audience in the right language. That certainly will, with help of you all, will come out with that kind of a strategy so that our citizens are well informed. I mean, there could be a lot of things to discuss, but I don't take much of time. However, I expect that from these technical sessions, we come out with some kind of recommendations which are implementable. I was just talking to Rakesh Kumarji about like MSMEs and all that. It's not cost. Costs are prohibitive, like APCs and all that. Many other our equipments and all that are very costly. So can we think of? I mean, you can guide us. Can we think of that whenever we receive application for consent to establish, so we know his intention, so his requirements, we tell him these are the requirements. So with the use of artificial intelligence, can we draw something and push to him that these are the things available in the market? We will not advocate a particular product, but it would be possible. Like if you put your name, the ChatGPT gives you all the information about. So, and there is a lot of products available. Like, I mean, you go to Alibaba, you find everything, or you go to Amazon. So, whoever is advertising, so if it is possible, then it will be easy for the people to get the proper product at the least cost, and so that we can have a better environment to live in. Mumbai has seen last November to January was the worst in the country and worse than Delhi. So this year, I mean, let us hope that we take all due care and Mumbai doesn't fare number one in pollution. Thank you. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you, sir. And I would like to request Honorable Praveen Darade, sir, to deliver thoughts. He always teaching us ki don't think globally, but act locally. So we always act locally.
Respected dignitaries present on the dais for the today's function, Chief Guest, Honorable Metropolitan Commissioner Shri Dr. Sanjay Mukherjee sir, my colleagues working with me as the Chairman of ACAC 1, Dr. Rakesh Kumar, Member Secretary Maharashtra Pollution Control Board, Dr. Avinash Dhakne, Dr. Modgare, all the distinguished guests working in the field of environment and climate change, those who really want to work, those who really want to work for the betterment of the environment, those who really want to save our planet, all those scientists, those who have gathered here, practitioners, consultants, and industrialists. I would like to welcome all of you for today's session on International Day of Clean Air for Blue Skies. Actually, World Ozone Day was on 7th of September. Because of earlier program, we could not do it on 7th of September. So we are celebrating today World Ozone Day. And I hope in this today's conference, we'll come out with certain initiatives which we need to take at the state level, which we need to frame, or which will be useful for framing the policies at the state level, which will help us in promoting sustainable development along with environment and climate change. So India is a developing country. When we are developing, we cannot stop our development, we cannot stop our developmental works. But at the same time, when we are carrying out our developmental activities, all these activities should be sustainable. So that activities can be made sustainable, we can work towards the betterment of the environment. And for that, we need to promote environmental friendly, sustainable projects on a large scale. For an example, the projects taken by MMRDA, metro projects. All the metros when will be commissioned, they will help in reducing the carbon footprint. That will be equivalent to planting crores of trees, which we cannot do even within a span of 50 years. So such type of projects, such type of activities, such type of interventions are very important as far as environment and climate change is concerned. So the theme of this year's international conference of annual celebration of this Ozone Day is Together for Clean Air, is very important. Just now you listened from the member secretary that the Mumbai's air was very poor quality during the month of November, December. All of you are aware that we are blessed since we are near to the sea. Because of sea breeze, the quality of air in Mumbai used to be always very good. But during the month of winter, the speed of the air reduces, and just because of that, we also suffer air quality. There are reasons for poor quality of air in Mumbai. There are more than 11,000 works going on right now in MMR region. When 11,000 works are going on, you can expect what will be the level of pollution, how much trucks are coming daily at night time because of huge infrastructure projects going on right now in Mumbai, including Coastal Road, Mumbai Trans-Harbour Links, and Mumbai Metro projects. At the same time, These projects are very important, essential, not only from the point of view of development, but from the point of view of environment also. Once all these projects are completed, we will definitely reduce the carbon footprint. As far as Mumbai city is concerned, Maharashtra state is concerned. So, all of us need to work towards together for improving our quality of air. While improving our quality of air, the Environment Department along with the Pollution Control Department, we are working towards strengthening monitoring systems, implementing and reducing the emissions by way of retrofitting the vehicles. We also have EV policies for reducing the pollutions, and we are going on very aggressively. And our target by 2025 is that we should have a EV fleet of more than 25%. And I hope we'll be able to achieve that target provided manufacturer responds to our target. Unfortunately, let me tell you that we are very lucky that in Mumbai, all the best buses has been converted on CNG, and the rest new fleet, all they are buying on only EV vehicles. So we'll be having a public transportation very environmental friendly as far as Mumbai city is concerned. As far as Maharashtra government is concerned, we are promoting public transportation in all major cities. We are going aggressively for the improvement of public infrastructures in the cities like Pune, Nagpur, and even Nasik also. So this will definitely help us in reducing the pollution. We have launched 3 years back Maji Vasundhara campaign, in which we have involved all the urban local bodies as well as rural local bodies. And I am very happy to share with you the results of this Maji Vasundhara campaign is very amazing. All the people have started taking part in this campaign. Initially, only 600, including urban and rural local bodies, participated in the first year. Second year, it shot up to 11,000, and third year, around 17,000. And this year, more than 23,000, including all 411 urban local bodies and rest rural local bodies. Out of 28,000, 22,000. Only 6,000 rural local bodies are out of this, our Maji Vasundhara campaign, which is an exhaustive campaign, which is working on the 5 elements of the earth. The main focus of this campaign is reducing water pollution, reducing air pollution, solid waste management in the rural areas, and all the components of Swachh Bharat missions are also part of this. Once this campaign is increasing the green cover, improving the open spaces, once all our 28,000 gram panchayats and all 411 urban local bodies starts participating seriously and start working on towards it, we will have very bright future as far as Maharashtra is concerned and environment is concerned. The results are very encouraging. Without any financial support, during the last 3 years, we have done the plantation of more than 3 crore trees. We have created more than 16,000 open spaces along with the plantation of trees, Miyawaki type of gardens throughout the Maharashtra, which was next to impossible. And if you evaluate all these works done in terms of money, even at the village level, people have come out with the solar street lights, solar pumps, EV vehicles. They have purchased the EV vehicles at the village level also. At the same time, they have provided the charging networks at the village level. These are very encouraging results. They are doing water recharging, rainwater harvesting. And when you look at such type of campaigns, there are very encouraging results. Initially, we were giving a prize money of 50 crores. Then next year, we increased up to 100 crores. And this year, we have increased it to 176 crores. And we have created more and more categories so as to make it more and more participative. Money, prize money is not important. What is important is people's participation. And it has become a people's movement now. That is very important. Unless and until each and every individual starts participating in this environmental and climate change and global warming, if each and every individual starts contributing in his own way, then and then only we will be able to make the difference at the state level, national level, and globally. So everybody's contribution is very important. How you can contribute, everybody keep on asking me wherever I go, how I can contribute. There are very simple ways. How you can help in improving the environment, how you can contribute as far as environment and climate change is concerned. Small steps, use lights, lights as well as AC whenever it is required. Keep the AC temperature at 24 so that you can save the electricity. Use stairs if you are young in case of escalators or elevators. Run in the open spaces instead of running on the treadmills. These are all small initiatives. Carry your bags whenever you go for shopping instead of using the plastic bags. Say no to the plastic. And Maharashtra is first state to ban complete on the plastic carry bags since 2018. But still, we get a lot of inflow of plastic bags from the other states because there is not a complete ban as far as India is concerned. So what is important is we need to be more and more aware, we need to be more and more conscious, we need to involve the communities, we need to involve every individuals. We need to involve, more importantly, is education department, because children are the future of this nation. If you can inculcate all these good habits, sustainable habits as far as environment and climate change is concerned, they will become the messenger of this department. They will carry this message to their homes, to their parents, and they will definitely bring the change, because this will take a long time. I know the habits of the people don't change overnight. This is a long-term project, but if we start from today, then and then only we will be able to achieve our target of sustaining this environment. At the same time, sustainable development will be able to achieve. I hope in this today's whole day conference, we will come out with good ideas, good solutions, and good thoughts for implementing at the policy levels also, which will help in improving our environment and climate. Thank you very much. Thank you for coming at a very short notice for this today's conference.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much. In National Clean Air Program, some 19 non-attainment cities has been performed very well. So they adopted some good practices. So now we'll present one video in front of you, what the good practices adopted by the 19 cities, and that will become a success path to the other cities. What the other cities can do the better than these 19 cities. Video, please.
What we can see can be easily managed, but what about the hidden enemy, the invisible air pollution? Maharashtra has been in the forefront of developmental agenda, with 488 urban agglomerations harboring 45% of population, of which 19 cities identify as non-attainment cities under the National Clean Air Program by Government of India. Yes, the Indian government has identified the need to improve air quality at city, regional and national level, targeting 20 to 30% reduction of PM matter concentration by 2025. The state of Maharashtra has time and again proved to be a leader, including in case of NCAP, taking up the challenge of cleaning air throughout the state with an airshed approach. From being the first state to initiate electrical vehicle policy, banning of furnace oil, pet coke and wood in industrial fuel applications, to developing scientific methods of road dust control, Maharashtra has paved its way to achieving beyond compliance goals. The first and foremost approach of MPCB has been to strengthen its air monitoring network for a transparent and effective communication of air quality across the state. Thereby, the 12 regions as per MPCB having already established network of 79 manual stations under NAMP, 47 under SAMP and 69 CAAQMS provides the much needed air quality evaluation for ease of evaluating strategies when put in place. Across the cities of Maharashtra, the major contributing sources identified to contribute to air quality in terms of PM10 have been road dust, followed by vehicles, followed by area sources. And for those cities having industrial or power generation activities in their airshed, energy and industries rank amongst equally contributing to the source. Specific action plans have been developed by each city based on scientific investigation to identify hotspots that require immediate and medium term actions required towards mitigating major contributing sources and long term actions for residual source contributions. Road dust being identified as one of the major issues. Mechanical sweeping machines for cleaning of road corners, where dust usually settles, and often resuspended have been potentially most used options by cities, followed by cleaning of roads manually. Water mist, water fountains, and foggers have found its way as a prominent technological solution in several cities facing critical meteorological influence events of air pollution, effectively able to reduce PM10 concentrations by average 52% in localized zones impacting about 50 lakh people. Construction demolition waste in smaller cities have been also identified as a source contributing to cities' air pollution, whereby several cities have strictly implemented MSW rules 2016 and created C&D waste centers along with putting IT solutions for vigilance on illegal C&D waste disposal. Amongst the most favored long-term action, e-mobility has found its en route as a progressive policy for cities. Almost each of the cities have included e-buses in the public transport in addition to those that are already part of the EV policy of Government of Maharashtra, extending it to the last mile connectivity. Cities have come up with innovative and technologically advanced methods of monitoring air quality using drones, water sprinkling process for settling of dust, traffic decongestion via rerouting and construction of alternative roads or bridges, end-to-end pavement, greening of areas, road repairs reconstruction, introduction of electrical cycles for short travel, and last mile connectivity to avoid personal conventional fuel-based vehicles and several others. Non-attainment cities of Maharashtra with their efforts have already shown high levels of improvement in air quality earmarked by Amravati and Thane, being ranked as the topmost in Swachh Vayu Survekshan by Ministry of Environment, Forest and Climate Change for the year 2023. The efforts of Maharashtrian cities are not only acknowledged nationwide, but the long-standing appreciation for the collaboration between MPCB and these cities in advancing cleaner air is evident. Working in unison, we are committed to achieving sustainability goals. The state of Maharashtra, in conjunction with MPCB, remains dedicated to improving air quality and securing a brighter future for both current and future generations. Through our endeavors, we aim to serve as a source of pride and inspiration for the entire nation.
Lokha samasta sukhino bhavantu. Thank you.
Thank you. A big round of applause, please. Now we would like to request to release a brochure of MPCB that is about the best achievement in ease of doing business. So I would like to request all the dignitaries to release this brochure. The main highlights of the brochure is about the ease of doing business. We made some best practices, best achievements here itself. And that is the main points and highlighted in this brochure. Now I would like to request another. So best practices from the non-attainment cities for the clean air. We released the basic points and history about the best practices. And that is the achievement made by the non-attainment cities, the best practice. That is the book. Now I would like to request the Municipal Commissioner of Amravati, Shri. Now I would like to request Dr. Modgare sir. We are going to felicitate Amravati Commissioner and the Thane Commissioner, but why we are going to honor the both of them? Just a brief history about Dr. Modgare.
Sir, Government of India since last 4 years has launched the Swachh Vayu Survekshan, and this is the 4th year in which, sir, 131 cities have participated, and based on the various categories with the population and their sectors, biomass, road must, and other what they have done, it was well introspected by at the Government of India level, including MOEF and Department of Expenditure. We are happy to announce that our city, Amravati, it was stood last year third, now stood first rank in all India as a Swachh city in category of 3 lakh to 10 lakh. And 75 lakhs cash has been awarded by the Honorable Minister Environment at Bhopal function held on 7th of September. I would like to request our Honorable Chief Guest to kindly felicitate Municipal Commissioner Amravati with the certificate and the bouquet and the shawl on this occasion to recognize his efforts. Municipal Commissioner Amravati. Sir, in the category of 10 lakhs to 50 lakhs population, the third rank, all India third rank has been awarded to Thane city with a cash prize of rupees 50 lakhs. And the Municipal Commissioner Thane has graced the occasion on the 7th September. Function was held at Bhopal. Due to some engagement, Abhijit Bangar sir could not join this program. They have deputed additional Municipal Commissioner Rokde sir for this program. I would like to request Honorable Chief Guest Sanjay Mukherjee sir for our to felicitate the Municipal Corporation Thane.
Now I would like to request Honorable Dr. Sanjay Mukherjee sir to deliver thoughts.
Respected dignitaries on the dais, Honorable Shri Praveen Darade, Secretary Environment, Government of Maharashtra, Honorable Shri Rakesh Kumarji, who needs no introduction in this field, Shri Avinash Dhakneji, Mudgare Sahib, and all the dignitaries of the dais. At the onset, I start by wishing all of you a very happy Engineers Day. And as I always say in any Engineers Day function, you are the guys who chose to be as opposed to not to be. BE. BE as opposed to not to be. Today is also the celebration of the International Day of Clean Air for Blue Skies, which was to be held on the 7th of September. And today is also the World Ozone Day, that is to be held on the 16th of September. So we are actually being highly sensitive and sustainable by clubbing things together. Friends, the whole day is going to be a very, very technical day. And we have all experts. You just went through the list, and you have Rakesh Kumarji, and you have Virat Singh ji, and you have Dr. Abhay Oja. And so we have all experts who would be giving speeches and who would be sharing technical details on what can be done to make life more bearable, which means that what can be done to make the environment better, what can be done towards sustainable development. I think here as a chief guest, I will just stick to what does it mean from the perspective of a user and what does it mean from a perspective of the citizen. I'm reminded of the good old days when there were no air conditioners, when even auditoriums, I belong to a city, a small, medium-sized city, so we used to have functions there was a hall of the Institution of Engineers, and there was a hall of the Indian Medical Association, and all these halls, they did not have air conditioning. We had the windows open. As days went on, so then the architecture evolved, and you started having, such kind of auditoriums. Well, acoustics on one side, but, well, it is pretty expensive. Not only is it expensive to build, but it is also expensive to maintain. And look at this, you have the air conditions running. You need air to be circulated and recirculated. So as life went on, we have made our life highly complicated. In those days, one used to walk. Walking 2 kilometers, 4 kilometers was nothing. One used to ride a bicycle. Cycling 8 to 10 kilometers a day was routine, and we had even senior citizens who would take a bicycle and ride on. As time went on, economic growth happened, and as economic growth happened, and we all being aspirational, so we purchased cars, motorcycles, and today see, the population has gone up by maybe 10 or 15%, 20%, but the rush on the roads is so much. It's so much that it takes so much time to go everywhere. And then you have all these noxious fumes, you have the gases. So maybe it is a time to get back to the basics. As Mr. Darade said in his speech, that every citizen needs to contribute. Now the question comes that how do you contribute? Contribution can come in many ways. But one of the most simple ways is let us go back to the good old Indian style of living. And I'll tell you what, in those days, there was no talk of recycling. The neighborhood kabadi wala was your recycler. घर में अगर बॉटल आती थी तो वो बॉटल जो है that bottle used to be sold, the glass used to be separated, the ढक्कन used to be separated, it was recycled, it was reused. The newspaper in our house was purchased that by the raddi wala, he would then, pulp was made or it would be used for packaging. Everything that you had, furniture, for instance, one person had a rich guy got new furniture, then that same furniture was purchased by someone else, and he used that furniture again. So everything was recycled, and recycling is a part of our life. I was additional municipal commissioner in BMC, and I handled the solid waste department for a short while there. And there I learned that in the Deonar in the Deonar dumping ground, the business of the rag pickers, if you quantify it economically, it is the figure was 238 crores then, the 250 odd crores was the economic impact of that thing. And therefore, the question was this, that if you want to reclaim that dumping ground, then you have to address this issue also. And that issue is these rag pickers, though on one hand, we do not want rag pickers, but on the other hand, there is a natural type of recycling that is happening. Everything there is also being recycled. So as at that point of time when the Mulund dumping ground was reclaimed, and then the person who got the bid, he thought that he would, that company thought that they would get a lot of things, materials, and they would get metals and this and that. And ultimately, all that they found was hard rock and debris. That's it. So I seriously think that the time has come that we look back into our culture, our clothing. For instance, the way an Indian dresses, look at our clothing. Our clothing is such, you really don't need an air conditioning. We wear light clothes. We don't tuck our kurtas inside. We keep it open, so there is a natural circulation of air. And look at what I am wearing today, a blazer. Well, these clothes are all European. They are designed for that environment, that climate. And they have to do it like that because it is so cold there that you need a coat on top of you. But in India, our clothing was a pagdi, or a feta, which we don as a sign of respect. That also gave us protection from the sun without the sweat bothering us. The light kurta or the light, bandi that we used to wear, in the good old days. I'm not advocating that we wear that to office, but I'm saying that it's more time that we go back to our basics. All these things are environmentally highly sustainable, they are eminently doable, and they will all improve our health, and they will all ultimately end up improving our lifespan. The other question which I want to raise here as a user is that whenever any environmentally sensitive or any environmentally positive response is to be taken by an implementing agency, then the issue of technology comes up. And technology is a big problem. Many of the projects simply cannot be executed because vendors fight so much कि मेरे technology को लो and my technology, and मेरा shirt उसके shirt से सफ़ेद है. This is the whole thing which goes on, and these technology battles just do not allow the things to progress. So whether it is solid waste, whether it is liquid waste, whether it is sewage, whether it is water treatment, everywhere this technology business comes into the fray. When I was in BMC, we introduced a practice of open technology. And open technology essentially meant that whatever Government of India had decided, whatever technologies Government of India had thought of, that would be the technology allowed, and anything which is not tested, tried and proven, that would not be allowed. That was number one. But the second thing that we tried to introduce there was the whole thing will be analyzed based on deliverables. And the whole thing would be analyzed based on measurables. So for instance, if you are building a sewage treatment plant, then the deliverable is the standard given by the Pollution Control Board. But what happens of the sludge? How do you ensure that the sludge is actually taken out? Are you going to count the number of trucks which have gone? So we know what happens there. So there we had introduced a practice, though I do not know what exactly happened later, that the sludge would be, you need to generate some electricity out of that. You have to burn it, you have to generate electricity. That is measurable. So once it is measured, second, the tertiary treated water has to be essentially collected and cycled. So these are all measurable items. So if you do measurable items, then you know that the real work has happened, and you don't need to get into it. But my request to all the experts sitting there is that please help implementers like us. I speak for, I'm sure, several people who are struggling all over. Everywhere the Supreme Court says why you are not doing this measure and that measure. And the reason behind that is we are somehow not able to resolve this question of technology and how to decide how to make technology open and how to make it deliverable based. And an added point along with this is this, that as we talk about environment, we have to realize that today is the World Ozone Day. There is a depletion of the ozone layer. So essentially in the environment somewhere the ozone the concentration has come down and a hole is getting created. Now it doesn't require rocket science to know that when you travel in Europe or when you travel up north, that time the sun burns your skin. But you travel in Chandrapur, the sun doesn't burn your skin. It's hot, but the sun doesn't burn your skin. You can travel. So that is essentially the impact of ozone. It is affecting certain countries more than others. Now, if technology has been prepared and if some other country is expected to implement that technology so that the global world benefits, I feel that technology has to be transferred. And that technology transfer has to be at a rate which is commensurate to us. I've been speaking in all the fora that I get that technology transfer is the most key thing. Unless the world comes together and transfers the technology, on one hand you need to protect the interest of the person who has created that technology. On the other hand, it is in his interest, because unless you make technology transferable and usable and cheap, nobody is going to implement that technology. So you are actually reducing your profits. But on the other hand, countries like India, which have such a huge market, I think we are right in saying that, since we have entered into this developmental fray less, and since our footprint in the damage to the environment is less, therefore we deserve that technology should be transferred to us at a cost which is affordable to us. I thank you all for organizing this fabulous event. I'm really happy to see that for a government event, the hall is houseful. I congratulate Daradeji, I congratulate Avinashji, I congratulate Mudgare Sahib for organizing this wonderful function. And I also am very thankful to MMRDA for building such a nice auditorium at some point of time. And I hope that government departments and others make use of the auditorium to the full. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, sir.
It's a great pleasure to us as being MPCB and Environment Department. So all the present dignitaries, Honorable Dr. Sanjay Mukherjee sir, Honorable Praveen Darade sir, Honorable Dhakne sir, Honorable Rakesh Kumar sir, I would like to say thank you very much. Lots of thanks to all. Now I hand over this dais to Dr. Ajay Oza. Further go forward.
So I'm back with you all, and I'm so happy, and I'm so sure you really enjoyed this session. It was more of a non-conventional rather than, the conventional way people speak. So let us get back to our technical sessions. But before that, I would like to invite Amravati Municipal Corporation, who has already been felicitated for their efforts towards, betterment of air quality in their city, and that would set an example for us to take it forward and replicate in other cities. As has been rightly pointed out till now, that point sources industries has always been identified as one of the major contributors of air pollution, but things have changed over a period of time, and now urban centers are also, and urban sources are also looked at as one of the prominent sources of air pollution. And this is where Amravati has really taken a lead to showcase different ideas, different technologies and implementation that has made a difference in the air quality. Please witness Amravati's efforts.
आदरणीय व्यासपीठ आणि या ठिकाणी उपस्थित सर्व पर्यावरण तज्ज्ञ, या ठिकाणी थोडंसं एक व्हिडिओ आहे अमरावती महापालिकेने केलेल्या कामाचा, ते पाहण्याची विनंती करतो.
...121 वर्ग किलोमीटर क्षेत्रफल के साथ अमरावती महाराष्ट्र के सबसे बड़े शहरों में से एक है। वर्तमान में शहर की आबादी लगभग 8 लाख है और शहर संभागीय मुख्यालय है। 2015 से 2018 के दौरान शहर की सड़कें अच्छी स्थिति में नहीं थी। इसके अलावा फ्लाईओवर और अंडरपास की कमी, फुटपाथ जैसे एंड टू एंड बुनियादी ढांचे पर्याप्त नहीं थे। इस कारण हवा में आरएसपीएम की मात्रा 100 माइक्रोग्राम प्रति घन मीटर यानी अनुमेय सीमा से अधिक पाई गई। इसलिए अमरावती शहर को नॉन अटेनमेंट शहरों में शामिल किया गया था। शहर के वायु गुणवत्ता में सुधार लाने के लिए केंद्र सरकार द्वारा राष्ट्रीय स्वच्छ वायु कार्यक्रम की घोषणा की गई थी। इस कार्यक्रम के तहत मंत्रालय ने शहर में वायु प्रदूषण के स्रोतों को निर्धारित करने और इन प्रदूषकों को स्वीकार्य स्तर तक लाने के प्रयास करने के निर्देश जारी किए। तदनुसार नगर निगम द्वारा वायु गुणवत्ता पर प्रतिकूल प्रभाव डालने वाले प्रदूषकों और उनके स्रोतों तथा उनकी मात्रा को कम करने के लिए किए जाने वाले उपायों के संबंध में एक सूक्ष्म कार्य योजना तैयार की गई और इसे केंद्रीय प्रदूषण नियंत्रण बोर्ड द्वारा अनुमोदित किया गया। इस माइक्रो एक्शन योजना में मुख्य रूप से हरित क्षेत्रों का विकास, मैकेनिकल रोड स्वीपिंग, सड़क रखरखाव और मरम्मत, एंड टू एंड पेवमेंट, इलेक्ट्रिक वाहनों के लिए चार्जिंग स्टेशन, शहर में प्रतिदिन उत्पन्न होने वाले 100% कचरे की प्रोसेसिंग करने के लिए परियोजनाओं का निर्माण, कंपोस्ट डिपो में वर्षों से संग्रहित लीगेसी वेस्ट पर बायो माइनिंग इत्यादि शामिल है। कार्य योजना में उल्लेखित बिंदुओं के अनुरूप कार्यवाही हेतु विगत 3 वर्षों में पर्यावरण मंत्रालय द्वारा लगभग 15 करोड़ की धनराशि उपलब्ध कराई गई है। साथ ही शासन की विभिन्न योजनाओं एवं नगर निगम निधि से लगभग 541 करोड़ रुपए उपयोग कर उपरोक्त कार्य योजना क्रियान्वित की गई। क्योंकि शहर में वायु प्रदूषण का मुख्य कारण सड़क की धूल है, इसलिए शहर की मुख्य सड़कों का निर्माण और मरम्मत कार्य बड़े पैमाने पर किया गया। ट्रैफिक कंजेशन पॉइंट्स पर फ्लाईओवर एवं अंडरपास का निर्माण किया गया। से सड़क की सफाई के लिए मैकेनिकल स्वीपिंग मशीन का उपयोग कर सड़क धूल की मात्रा को कम करने में मदद मिली। अमरावती महानगर पालिका ने पिछले 5 वर्षों में 45 बगीचों का निर्माण किया है, जिसमें ऑक्सीजन पार्क, गए, जिसमें मियावाकी प्रकल्प भी शामिल है। इन कार्यों के सकारात्मक परिणाम स्वरूप पिछले 5 वर्षों में शहर की वायु गुणवत्ता में सुधार हुआ है। RSPM का स्तर औसतन 121 माइक्रोग्राम प्रति घन मीटर से घटकर लगभग 62 माइक्रोग्राम प्रति घन मीटर हो गया है। पर्यावरण एवं जलवायु परिवर्तन मंत्रालय की इस महत्वपूर्ण योजना और केंद्रीय में रहने का अवसर मिला।
अमरावती से इस पुरस्कार को ग्रहण करने के लिए उपस्थित हैं आदरणीय आयुक्त अमरावती श्री देवीदास पवार जी। पुरस्कार के तौर पर प्रथम पुरस्कार के लिए 75 लाख रुपए की राशि प्रदान की जा रही है। अमरावती शहर ने वायु गुणवत्ता के सुधार के लिए निरंतर प्रयास किए। PM10 सांद्रता का स्तर 22-23 में 33% तक कम किया। यहाँ ये उल्लेखनीय है कि अमरावती शहर को पिछले वर्ष इसी श्रेणी में तृतीय पुरस्कार प्राप्त हुआ था। इन्होंने अपनी श्रेणी को बेहतर बनाया है और तृतीय से प्रथम स्थान पर पहुंचे हैं। बहुत बहुत बधाई टीम अमरावती, बहुत बहुत बधाई टीम महाराष्ट्र।
आज या ठिकाणी आंतरराष्ट्रीय स्वच्छ वायू दिवस, जागतिक ओझोन दिवस आणि अभियंता दिन या त्रिमूर्ती अनुषंगाने आजचा हा आपल्या पर्यावरण संवर्धनाच्या दृष्टीचा हा कार्यक्रम आहे। माझ्या प्रेझेंटेशनमध्ये व्हिडिओमध्ये संपूर्ण दाखवलेलंच आहे। 121 चौरस किलोमीटरचा क्षेत्र आहे, 5 झोन आहेत आमच्या इथे आणि 22 वार्ड आहेत। साधारणपणे 8 लाख लोकसंख्या आहे। NOx जर पर्सेंटेज पाहिलं तर 80 मायक्रोग्राम क्युबिक मीटरपेक्षा आमचं कमी आहे, 13 ते 15च्या दरम्यानमध्येच आहे। आणि त्याच्यानंतर हवा प्रदूषण जर पाहिलं, SO2चं प्रदर्शन हे सुद्धा आमचं 12 ते 15 मध्येच होतं, परंतु त्याच्यापेक्षाही सर्वात जास्त म्हणजे RSPMचं आमचं 121च्या पेक्षा जास्त असल्यामुळं त्या ठिकाणी रस्त्याचे धुळीकरणाचं जे वातावरण होतं ते कमी करणं गरजेचं वाटलं। त्यावरतीच मागच्या 5 वर्षांमध्ये 2 वर्षांमध्ये लक्षात देण्यात आलं होतं। हे करत असताना आम्ही रस्त्यावरचे जे नवीन रस्ते आहेत, शहरामध्ये राष्ट्रीय महामार्गसुद्धा गेलेले आहेत, आमचे महत्त्वाचे रस्तेसुद्धा आहेत, त्या ठिकाणी आम्ही रस्ते सुधारण्याचे कामं केलेले आहेत आणि त्यावर लक्ष देऊन आम्ही जास्तीत जास्त रस्ते दुरुस्त केलेले आहेत, सुधारणा केलेल्या आहेत, सिमेंटीकरण केलेलं रस्त्याचं, एंड टू एंड पेवमेंट केलेले आहेत। उड्डाणपुलांची आम्ही बांधकाम केले, 2 उड्डाणपूल पूर्ण झालेले आहेत आणि 1 उड्डाणपूल आता येणाऱ्या 7-8 महिन्यामध्ये सुद्धा एक पूर्ण होणार आहे। अशा आणि घनकचरा व्यवस्थापनामध्ये दररोजचं जे आमचं साधारणपणे 200 मेट्रिक टन कचरा निघतो, तो दररोजच्या दररोज प्रक्रिया करतो आम्ही। हे करत असताना साधारणपणे मागचे 2019-20 ते 22-23पर्यंत आम्ही साधारणपणे 252 किलोमीटर रस्त्याची नव्याने निर्मिती किंवा देखभाल दुरुस्ती केलेली आहे. यामध्ये केंद्र शासन, राज्य शासन आणि महापालिकेच्या मिळून 415 कोटी रुपयाचा सुद्धा आम्ही खर्च केलेला आहे. यामध्ये गेल्या वर्षी जो आम्हाला NCPA मार्फत जो अनुदान प्राईज मिळालं होतं त्याच्यामधले 50 लक्ष रुपयेसुद्धा आम्ही रस्ते सुधारणामध्ये वापरलेले आहेत. त्यामुळे आमचे रस्ते चांगल्या पद्धतीनं झालेले आहेत. आणि आमचे जे हॉटस्पॉट होते 3 ठिकाण होते महत्त्वाचे शहरामध्ये, राजकमल चौक, जयस्तंभ चौक आणि इतवारा बाजार, या ठिकाणीसुद्धा आम्ही चांगल्या पद्धतीने एंड टू एंड रस्ते केलेले आहेत, पेमेंट केले. त्यामुळे त्या ठिकाणचं सुद्धा हे हॉटस्पॉट संपलेले आहेत. एक इतवाराचा हॉटस्पॉट सध्या आहे, परंतु त्या ठिकाणी आता ब्रिज होत आहे आणि येणाऱ्या 6 महिन्यामध्ये तो सुद्धा हॉटस्पॉट आमचा कमी होणार आहे. एंड टू एंड पेमेंटमध्ये साधारणपणे आम्ही 154 मीटरचे पेमेंट केलेले आहेत मागच्या 2 वर्षामध्ये आणि त्याच्यावर आम्ही खर्च 83 कोटी रुपयाचा खर्च केलेला आहे. यामध्ये सुद्धा आम्ही आता जे आमचं एक काम एका ठिकाणी पेमेंट करायचं राहिलं तर NCPAचा जो गेल्या वर्षी निधी मिळालेला आहे त्याच्यामध्ये 6.5 कोटी रुपयाचं आमचं पेमेंटचं काम सुरू आहे. अशा पद्धतीने एंड टू एंड पेमेंट करून धुळीकरणाचं काम आम्ही कमी करत आहोत. मेकॅनिकल स्वीपरचा सुद्धा आम्ही वापर केलेला आहे. एक स्वीपिंग मशीन घेतलेली आहे. पूर्वी स्वीपिंग मशीन होती, परंतु आमचे रस्ते चांगले नव्हते, त्यामुळे आम्हाला स्वीपिंग चांगल्या पद्धतीने करता येत नव्हती. पण मागच्या 2 वर्षामध्ये आम्ही जे सिमेंट रोड आणि डांबरीकरणाचे रस्ते चांगले येईल, त्यामुळे एंड टू एंड आम्हाला चांगल्या पद्धतीने स्वीपिंग करता येते. NCPAच्या अनुदानातून आम्ही व्हॅक्यूम बेस लिटर पॅकर मशीनसुद्धा 2 खरेदी केलेत आणि त्याचासुद्धा आम्ही आता वापर करत आहोत. अशा पद्धतीनं आम्ही शहरामध्ये चांगल्या पद्धतीनं हे करत आहोत. रोड टू रोड हे करत आहोत. हरित क्षेत्र विकास केलेले आहेत आम्ही साधारणपणे 2019-20 ते 23पर्यंत 46 उद्याने तयार केले. त्यामध्ये 15 कोटी रुपयाचा आम्ही खर्च केलेला आहे. यामध्ये 14.5 कोटी रुपये शासनाचा आहे आणि NCPA अंतर्गतचे सुद्धा आम्ही निधी याच्यासाठी वापरलेला आहे. यावर्षी एक चांगल्या पद्धतीनं आम्ही हे केलेलं आहे की आमची जी मियावाकी गार्डनसुद्धा आम्ही आमचं जे हिंदू स्मशानभूमी आहे त्या ठिकाणी सुरू केलेलं आहे. तसंच छत्री तलाव आहे त्या ठिकाणी आम्ही 15,000 झाडं एका ठिकाणी मियावाकी प्लांटेशन केलेलं आहे. आणि हिंदू स्मशानभूमीमध्ये अमृत महोत्सवाच्या दृष्टीनं 7,500 झाडं लावून त्या ठिकाणी आम्ही अमृत महोत्सवाचं प्लांटेशन केलेलं आहे. यासोबतच स्वास्थ्य गार्डन एक नवीन जी संकल्पना आहे तीसुद्धा आम्ही एका कॉलनीमध्ये वापरलेली आहे. आणि याशिवाय एक चांगला कार्यक्रम म्हणजे यावर्षी एक घर एक वृक्ष असा आम्ही संकल्प उभारणी केलेला आहे आणि नागरिकांना आवाहन केलेलं आहे. माझ्या कर्मचाऱ्यांना, शाळेच्या शिक्षकांना, सर्व शाळेच्या खाजगी आणि माझ्या संस्थेच्या शिक्षकांना, महानगरपालिकेच्या शिक्षकांना, विद्यार्थ्यांना आम्ही जनजागृती केली आणि माझ्याकडे आता 63,000 झाडाची नोंदणी झालेली आहे. 63,000 झाडं लावण्यासाठी, त्यापैकी 47,000 वृक्ष आम्ही लावलेले आहेत. हे लावण्यासाठी आम्ही फक्त महापालिकेमार्फत मी खड्डे करण्यासाठीच्या 7 मशीन घेतल्या. फक्त नागरिकांना आवाहन केलेलं आहे की आपल्याकडे या नंबरवरती आपण वृक्ष लावायचं म्हणून आम्हाला नोंदणी करा. नोंदणी केल्यानंतर आम्ही वृक्ष घेऊन येऊ, रोपटं घेऊन यावं आणि त्या ठिकाणी आम्ही खड्डा करून देऊन आम्ही तुम्हाला वृक्ष लावून देतो. फक्त तुम्ही त्याची जोपासणी करा. आणि याला चांगल्या पद्धतीनं प्रतिसाद मिळालेला आहे, लोकसहभाग झालेला आहे. आणि पुढच्या वर्षी, यावर्षी जो आम्हाला बक्षीस मिळालेलं आहे हे बक्षीस अशा पद्धतीनं पुढच्या वर्षीसुद्धा चांगल्या पद्धतीने टिकून ठेवण्यासाठीचे वेगवेगळे नियोजन यावर्षीसुद्धा आम्ही केलेलं आहे. आणि हवा चांगल्यात चांगली शहरामध्ये राहावं याचा आम्ही दक्षता घेणार आहोत. या ठिकाणी मला बोलवलं, सत्कार केला त्याबद्दल आणि या ठिकाणी बोलण्याची संधी दिली त्याबद्दल धन्यवाद.
Thank you, Municipal Commissioner Amravati. Due to the short of the time and some presentations are remaining, I will request the additional Municipal Commissioner Thane to only give the briefing or video, anything one you can choose. Because we got 2 lectures more. Already I have skipped 1 lecture. It's 1:45 and we will be taking a lunch at 2:50. Yeah, only video we can run.
In an era of rapid growth and urbanization, new challenges are emerging for India to save natural resources. This is possible by processing construction and demolition waste in an environment-friendly manner within metro cities and convert them into useful resources once these are recycled and processed. Thane city generates more than 300 metric ton of C&D waste per day through bulk generators such as private builders, SRA projects, remodeling projects, encroachment clearance department, PWD department, and complaints of small generators. The bins are provided at construction sites of bulk generators, and for small generator, community bins are placed in the municipal wards. The laborers and auto tippers are deployed at various locations through control room to clear the complaints received online or through toll-free number. The collected waste from city complaints is transported to community bins by auto tippers, and once filled, the bins are transported to processing plant. The unauthorized C&D waste dumped at roadside, highways, municipality grounds is collected with excavator loaders and mechanized hook loaders and dumpers and transported to processing plant. The complete process of collection and transportation of the collected waste is tracked through vehicle tracking and monitoring system and GPS-equipped hook loaders. Thane Municipal Corporation is the first city in Maharashtra to install a state-of-the-art plant designed, installed and commissioned in compliance with the C&D Waste Management Act 2016. This plant for handling, processing of C&D waste and storage of processed material is situated at Diagar, Thane and is spread in 5 acres of land. The C&D waste collected from bulk, small and unauthorized dumping sites are weighed on digital weighbridge at the Diagar plant and processed through segregation and size reduction process in a dust-controlled environment. The waste passed through special segregation system, debris handling and screening system, washed and cleaned at the state-of-the-art wet process plant. This fully automatic plant stacks these aggregates as per size through different conveyor belts. The water used in the process is reclaimed and reused up to 80% through water recycling plant. The recycled sand is used as building construction material, which is a very good substitute of river sand. The raw processed aggregate and sand are tested on quality parameters and batched for further use. The processed building material of the plant have passed the stringent quality test and guidelines. Plaster sand are also used as building construction material and contributes towards environment conservation and promotion of green project. The sand and clay is also used as raw material to make various value-added products such as paver block, curb stones, benches and garden furniture of various shape and sizes. In construction material for non-load bearing structures and green project. Through its efforts to save environment by recycling, recovery, reuse and reduce for maximum utility for sustainable living.
आजच्या कार्यक्रमाचे अध्यक्ष माननीय प्रवीण दराडे सर, प्रधान सचिव पर्यावरण विभाग, माननीय अविनाशजी ढाकणे, प्रधान मेंबर सेक्रेटरी MPCB मोडकरे साहेब, या ठिकाणी उपस्थित मान्यवर. ठाणे महानगरपालिकेला यावर्षी 10 लाखपेक्षा जास्त पॉप्युलेशन असलेल्या शहरांमध्ये क्लीन एअर प्रोग्राममध्ये 3रा नंबर मिळालेला आहे. ठाणे शहरामध्ये मुख्यतः जे पोल्युशन आहे ते व्हेहिक्युलर पोल्युशन आहे. ठाणे शहरामधून 2 प्रमुख हायवे जातात आणि हे पोल्युशन कमी करण्यासाठी ठाणे महानगरपालिकेने काही बाबी करण्याचा प्रयत्न केलेला आहे. नेक्स्ट ठाणे महानगरपालिकेला 15 वित्त आयोगातून जो निधी मिळाला आहे तो आतापर्यंत 93.24 करोड्स एवढा मिळाला आहे आणि या मार्चपर्यंत 75% खर्च आम्ही करणार आहोत. यामध्ये प्रामुख्याने 123 ई बसेस आम्ही प्रोक्युअर करतो आहे. वर्क ऑर्डर दिली आहे, त्यामध्ये 39 बसेस आज आम्हाला प्राप्त झालेल्या आहेत. त्याचप्रमाणे 42 बसेस घेण्याची वर्क ऑर्डर देण्याची प्रक्रियासुद्धा सुरू आहे. सद्यस्थितीमध्ये ठाणे शहरामध्ये 315 सिटी बसेस रोडवर धावत आहेत. त्या संपूर्ण 315 बसेस बसेसमध्ये व्हेकल्समध्ये कन्वर्ट करण्याचा ठाणे महानगरपालिकेचा प्रयत्न आहे. नेक्स्ट 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 हा आमचा C&D वेस्ट प्लांट आहे. आता व्हिडिओमध्ये दाखवलेला आहे. याची 300 मेट्रिक टन पर डेची कॅपॅसिटी आहे. नेक्स्ट ठाण्यामध्ये सुरुवातीला मी जे सांगितलं की मुख्यतः व्हेक्युलर पोल्युशन जास्त आहे आमच्याकडे. तर रस्ते रुंद करणे, ब्रिजेस तयार करण्याचं काम हे ठाणे महानगरपालिकेने केलेलं आहे. नेक्स्ट रोड स्वीपिंग, फाउंटेन्स, नेक्स्ट अनेक गार्डन्स आम्ही तयार केलेले आहेत. स्मार्ट सिटी प्रोग्राम आणि विद्यार्थ्यांचं सुद्धा यामध्ये आम्ही पार्टिसिपेशन घेतो आहे. GVPs ठाण्यामध्ये जवळजवळ 200 GVPs आम्ही या प्रकारे कन्वर्ट केलेले आहेत. नेक्स्ट थँक्यू.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much for being brief. So sir was pointing out about the carbon footprint. We have done some studies on the carbon footprint, and the per capita carbon footprint in Maharashtra comes out to be about 2.1 tons per capita, and which is a little bit higher than the average Indian per capita. Maharashtra has about 3 lakh kilometers of road and about 4.2 crore vehicles as per 2022. And every day, all these vehicles, when they are on the road, they actually travel an estimated 500 crore kilometers. Now imagine 500 crore kilometers of vehicles on the road being traveled every day in the state of Maharashtra. And along with that, we have around 1 lakh industries which have been using fuel, thermal power plant, which is about 21.7 gigawatts, burning coal, and 50,000 bakeries, 3 lakh approximately hotels, and equivalent of street vendors. About 1.3 crore acres of land being developed under the agriculture. So there is windblown dust. There are almost 13 different types of sources which has been identified. A lot of work MPCB has carried out. That entire work is available on the website. This program is being streamed live right now, and there are so many people who have joined us to witness this entire aspect. Maharashtra actually generates about 265 million tons of carbon emissions every year, which is almost 9.5% of the Indian, in terms of Indian total carbon emissions. These are all the data which we have developed at MPCB, and we are still validating it, to be soon taken up and reported, so that we can act on this very soon. Coming back to our technical part, sir mentioned about BE. We have a BE here who's in mechanical engineering. And as we move forward, if we look at climate change, and especially Mumbai in the last few days has become hotter and hotter, we require more of refrigeration. Where at the same time, the industry has been deploying compounds that has been related to ozone depletion. So we have our expert here from the R&D of Blue Star, Anil Kumar Sahu sir, who has a vast experience of 18 years in developing split ACs. We wanted to actually have a real-time case study of how the industry, refrigeration industry, is actually responding to the alternatives of ozone depleting substance. He has been very kind enough to accept our invitation at the last hour. And I welcome with a round of applause, please, to our speaker, Anil Kumar Sahu ji. He would be talking about alternatives of ODS in the refrigeration industry.
Yeah, I'll do it. So good afternoon, everyone. First of all, a very happy Engineers Day today. And I'm very privileged to represent Blue Star today and thanking MPCB for allowing us to express our journey, what we have done in implementing the HFC phase-out management plan. So first of all, who we are. So we are an 80 years old company having more than 3,000 employees and $1 billion company. We have 7 state-of-the manufacturing art across India ranging from north, west and south. So I'll skip this. So in the paucity of time, I will only speak on the challenges and how we have overcome those challenges in implementing this project. So in 2013, under the HPMP, which is the HFC phase-out management plan, where currently we were using the R22 refrigerant, we had to phase out this refrigerant and have to move to a zero ODP or the zero ODS substance as a refrigerant. So we had key 3 challenges where we have to, for the product design, for manufacturing and storage, and for the sales and after-sales service. So before evaluating any refrigerant, there are 6 factors or 6 parameters which needs to be evaluated. First is the eco-friendliness, where this ODS or the GWP component come into picture. Second is on the energy efficiency, because these refrigerant we will be using in our air conditioning, where it is under the BE regulation, so we have to look after the energy efficiency perspective also, and the ease of servicing, because once these air conditioning units are being installed in any setup, we need to have this ease of servicing. Next is the ease of handling the refrigerant, how safe is for this refrigerant to be used, and finally the cost, because it is in the product which will be catering to the end customer. So we had evaluated 3 refrigerant at that time. The first was the R410, which is a HFC. The next one is the R32, which is also comes under the HFC, and the R290, which is the natural refrigerant. So if you see the ODP value of all the 3 alternate refrigerant are 0. However, the GWP value of R410 was on the higher side, the R32 was in the mid-range, and the R290, which is a natural refrigerant, is less than 3. But the problem with R290 was it is highly flammable. However, R32 is also a mildly flammable refrigerant, but R290 is a highly flammable refrigerant, which needs an extra precaution to overcome this flammability. So out of these 3 refrigerant and based on these 3 factors, we selected R32 as an alternate refrigerant. So as I said that the challenges what we had while implementing this in the product design, that since this R32 is a new refrigerant, we did not have any matching components. For example, the compressors were not available at that time, and there was no empirical design which were readily available. Then the R32 refrigerant is a very high pressure gas, so we need to redesign our product maybe in terms of thicknesses and safety instructions, because we at Blue Star believe that our product should be very reliable and durable to the customers. Next, on the manufacturing setup, since R32 is a flammable refrigerant, so we need to have the right kind of setup for storage of refrigerants, and then getting the right vacuum pumps, because this is a different refrigerant than what we were treating in the plant at that time. Third was the sales and after sales service, because for the first 2 challenges that we can overcome within the premises of the company. But the third challenge was the sales and after sales service, where we have to do extensive training, give awareness to our channel partners, to our service technicians. So how we overcame these challenges? So before going to directly onto the product, we go on board. So there we do this system simulation on the softwares, and then we do this software validation through this softwares, the product validation through the software, through structural analysis, airflow simulation, all these softwares we have in our company. Then on the design validation part, since this is a new refrigerant R32 and being a mildly flammable, we need to change the setup in our laboratory so that there is a safe working environment while handling this refrigerant and the product which we are going to test. And then on the reliability part, we had to upgrade our system. So before implementing, going for a mass production, we made 1,000 air conditioner, and then we gave this 1,000 air conditioner for a field trial in two cities, which is the Hyderabad and Ahmedabad. We selected these two cities because the temperatures are very high in these particular two cities, so that we can get an advantage of the first-hand customer experience of this product. The next was from the manufacturing and the storage perspective. Since this is a flammable refrigerant, so we have to upgrade our equipment to be a flame-proof equipment, so that while handling this refrigerant in the product, there should not be any safety aspect which comes into the picture. And secondly, because this is a flammable refrigerant, we had to restrict the quantity of gas which we were going to put into the product. So here we did a lot of research, and we identified that using a 5 mm heat exchanger will definitely benefit and reduce the quantity of gas which we will be using in this air conditioning. The second was on the storage part. So we had received a certification from PESO for storage of this refrigerant in the ISO tunnels. Then the safety instrument addition on the line, so that these lines are electric proof and any fire incident should not take place. And on the training part, the last is the sales and after sales service. So an extensive training session we had conducted. So we had given training of around more than 3,000 to each of our technicians, so that they should be well aware and well equipped while they are handling this product on the field. So accordingly, we changed their equipment, because this is a high pressure refrigerant. So we changed the vacuum gauges, all the electrical parameters what they are carrying to equip with this product. So I am very happy and proud to say that Blue Star is the first Indian company to introduce R32 refrigerant in all the room air conditioners. So what next? Because now we have achieved the ODP 0 refrigerant. Now the other parameters which we need to attack is on the GWP value. Since the R32 GWP value is in the mid-range, so we are evaluating few alternative refrigerant. Like in US, there is research going on R45B refrigerant, and in Europe, carbon dioxide and R290, both these natural refrigerant research is going on. So the disadvantage, I'll speak on the disadvantage here. R290 is highly flammable, but yes, there are technology to curb the flammability aspect, to give some safety precaution in the air conditioning. So that work is going on. And on the R41B, it is similar to the R410, but since this is the new synthetic refrigerant, so at present the cost of the refrigerant is very high. Coming to the CO2, CO2 is, if you see, it's a very viable option. But the issue with CO2 is that it is very high pressure. So we need to make the air conditioning, heat exchangers so big to handle this high pressure, which obviously will make the product cost on the higher side. So all these refrigerants have its own challenges on which the global team are working. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Anil sir. Give me 1 sec. It has been a real experience, because refrigeration is part of our lives. Almost every individual homes we see these days are equipped with and fulfilled with refrigeration, and transforming and translating from ODS substance and non-ODS along with the GWP is a tough task. And I'm sure that we all would see much more from your end in terms of not only ozone ODS, but also in terms of GWP substances having lower GWP potentials. I would request Modgare sir to facilitate our speaker. He has been very brief. I'm really, really thankful to you. Thank you. So I know it's 2 o'clock and आप लोगों का ताली बजाने का स्पीड भी कम हो गया है. Okay, so I know we are between you and the lunch, but we have one speaker who's a scientist on the ground. I was reading his CV और मुझे इतना jealousy feel हो रहा था कि he is in the Antarctica, he is in the Arctic expeditions, he is teaching ozone, part to masters students. He is in the rainforest doing analysis of VOCs and he's there in Antarctic continent where he's working on trace gas analysis. He is a person on the ground, and we are going to hear a lot from him on the actual background analysis and the data analytics and the science behind ozone. Please welcome with a round of applause Anup Mahajanji from Indian Institute of Tropical Meteorology. He's a scientist F category, and he is a very old friend of mine. We go back almost 20 years, and all of a sudden we got in touch, and I came to know that he has been traveling all across the world to understand air pollution. Please welcome, and he will be between our lunch, so he knows how fast it has to be done.
Yeah. Can we just put on the presentation?
Yeah.
Well, thanks a lot, Ajay. First of all, thank you for inviting me. It's really nice to see a big hall full of people who are interested in what's happening with air quality and also with ozone. I'm acutely aware of the fact that I'm between you and lunch, so I'll try and keep it as succinct as possible. The earlier idea, at least when Ajay told me, I wanted to talk to you about the history of understanding how ozone worked, how we discovered there was an ozone layer, and then how we discovered there was a problem with it. I won't go through that a lot, but I will talk to you about the current status of ozone pollution, or the ozone layer itself, right? So just to start off with, everybody knows what the ozone layer is. This is a layer all across the globe, which is between 15 to 30 kilometers, and it essentially helps protect us from the harmful UV radiation. This is basically a high concentration as compared to the rest of the atmosphere itself, and it basically has helped evolve life. And the reason why it has helped evolve life is because it filters out all the UV radiation. So if you are at the top of the atmosphere, you would not survive very long, not just because of the lack of air, but because of the UV radiation. But at the surface, because it's all filtered out, or because of ozone, we can survive. Now, how is this ozone formed? It's a very simple mechanism. It's known as the Chapman mechanism, which was discovered in 1930. So honestly, we don't know that much about ozone. It's fairly recent, the history about the science of ozone. And basically what this leads to is it's a very quick reaction scheme, and it leads to the production of ozone. Because there's enough UV radiation in the stratosphere, there's a lot of ozone concentration over there. Just a little note saying that this Chapman mechanism actually over-predicts the amount of ozone in the stratosphere, and this is before we started destroying it. And the reason it over-predicts is because there is a natural reduction also that happens, and these are catalytic reactions. Catalytic reactions are essentially very quick reactions which lead to the depletion of ozone. So there is a natural depletion which has always been happening. And that's good because it has controlled the amount of ozone in the stratosphere just to the level which is necessary for life to survive. Otherwise, a lot of that ozone would come down to the surface and life would not survive also. So it's a really good mix over there. Unfortunately, over the last 50, 60 years, we have been leading to a lot of depletion of ozone. And this is what people talk about when they talk about the ozone hole. It's a very visual reduction in ozone, especially over the polar regions. And there's this very special reason why it happens only over the polar regions. Like Rakeshji was, Mukherjee was talking about how your skin burns when you go to the higher latitudes in Europe, etc., but it doesn't burn over in India. The reason is very simple, is because there's this reduction of ozone which is happening at the polar regions itself. And this reduction in ozone has been increasing. Thankfully, it was detected, and then some really clever minds got together and discovered the chemistry behind it. So this was the first Nobel Prize that was actually given in the field of atmospheric sciences because it solved a huge problem that we did not know about. So Roland and Molina, these guys were based in UC Irvine and in Max Planck in Germany. Basically, they got together and did a lot of laboratory experiments through which they showed that the chlorofluorocarbons, some of the compounds which the industry had been using because they're extremely efficient compounds, unfortunately, these compounds are so efficient that they do not get lost in the troposphere. So they actually survive until they reach the stratosphere, where they break down and lead to the emission of all these chlorine compounds. And it leads to this catalytic cycle, very similar to the natural ones, but because you have emitted a lot of it, the cycle is much more dangerous. I won't go into the details of it, but this is just to show you how much of these compounds are there. This is an example compound, CFC12, and as you can see, there's a lot of it lower down and a little less further up, but there's a lot of it all around the world. So it's not just that these compounds are at the polar regions, it's actually over the equator, everywhere. But the reason why we see this reduction only in the polar regions is because of these particles known as polar stratospheric clouds. So for this mechanism to be extremely active, what you need is physical particles on which there can be heterogeneous chemistry. And this chemistry can happen only in polar regions. The reason is because there isn't enough lowering of temperature in the tropical regions for these clouds to form. So these are not clouds that we see from our countries over here. These are clouds which are actually formed in the stratosphere because of the extreme cold temperatures. And that happens mainly because the temperature in the stratosphere can actually drop to those levels itself. And of course, if the stratosphere is cooler, you'll get more clouds, and hence you will end up destroying more ozone because these heterogeneous chemistry, heterogeneous chemistry becomes more active. So a very simple thing is you need two components, yeah? You need your CFCs, and in addition to CFCs, you need polar stratospheric clouds. Without these two things together, you would never ever see ozone depletion. And this is why you end up getting something like this in terms of time series. So what you have is you have your CFCs all year round, but they react away and they form some of these reservoir species, and they're not dangerous. But then you get these polar stratospheric clouds only during winter time because the temperature is very low. And then that leads to recycling of these reservoir species into active species. And then when spring comes in, you have sunlight. In the polar regions, it's completely dark during winter. But the minute you get sunlight, you get this active chemistry happening. So that's why you see these ozone holes, as we call it, only during springtime in the polar regions. You don't see it all over the world. But of course, what's going to happen is if you keep on increasing your CFCs, then it becomes more and more active and it destroys a lot of ozone. And how do we know this is true? This is actually some observations which were done in 1987 by Anderson's group in NASA. And essentially what they did was they took a flight and flew from Chile, which is in South America, down to Antarctica. And in Antarctica, there's this thing known as the Antarctic vortex, which is basically a cold mass of air which just keeps circulating. And in that cold mass of air, you get these polar stratospheric clouds, which is why you would go to get ozone depletion. And they saw this very, very clear signal. Basically, the minute you cross into the vortex, you get huge amount of ozone depletion. And in fact, even now, when we go and make measurements in the Antarctic or the Arctic, we can see this phenomena very, very clearly itself. So that is the background, the history of it, but let's talk about the current status. Is this yesterday's problem? Do we not need to worry about it anymore, or are there other things we need to think about? So first of all, this is a plot showing where you get an increase in UV radiation because of the reduction in ozone. So on the x-axis is latitude. So if you go to the left-hand side, you're going into the Antarctic region. On the right-hand side, you're in the Arctic region. And you can see there's an increase in UV radiation in these regions, mainly because of the reduction in ozone that has happened because of ozone-depleting substances. And of course, if you live in places like Europe, which is around 40 to 50 degrees north, then you're going to see a problem in human health, or similarly in Australia, etc. So that's obviously showing that the chemistry is correct and there is a bit of a problem. This figure essentially shows the amount of chlorine in the stratosphere. So what is actually causing ozone depletion? As you can see, thankfully it has peaked in around 2010 or so. There was a peak in the amount of chlorine in the stratosphere. So yes, all the protocols, Montreal Protocol that you heard about, etc., all the action taken by governments together is having an effect. The amount in chlorine is reducing, and it is projected to reduce slowly into the future. One thing to remember is these gases are very long-lived. So the impact is not that you switch off emissions now and all the impact is gone. It takes years and years for the impact to reduce. But we are heading in the right direction, which is really good news. And the reason for that is this: the industry, thankfully, has complied with the regulations that the governments have come in. So as you can see, at one point, we were emitting as much as 1.6 million tons of ozone-depleting substances. And as soon as the protocols came in, which was first the Montreal Protocol came in 1987 and subsequently in London and Copenhagen, etc., as you can see, the reduction has been drastic, and that is mainly thankfully to the industry responding to regulation itself. So what's the current status in terms of emissions? Emissions have reduced drastically, but yes, there are still some emissions. In fact, just a couple of years ago, a new CFC was discovered that was being emitted from China. So the industry is obviously trying to find alternatives. and which is completely understandable because you need your manufacturing to go ahead. Unfortunately, some of these compounds have adverse effects, so we just need to be aware of that. But going from 1.6 million tons, you can see you've really come down in terms of total emissions, which is really good news. And then this is the kind of effect we are saying. So on the left-hand side is the area of the ozone hole. So how much area did it cover in terms of millions of square kilometers? And then on the right-hand side is the total amount of ozone in the polar regions. And what you can see is very clearly there was an increase in the area of the ozone hole. So ozone hole was getting bigger and bigger. And if you look at the x-axis over there, you can see from basically 1980 to 1990, we had gone from not having an ozone hole to almost having a 20 million square kilometer big ozone hole. So this was a very important thing that humans discovered very quickly, because otherwise within 10, 20 more years, we would have very little ozone all over the world itself. So it was good that we found that problem out very, very quickly. And as you can see, as we stopped emitting, everything has stabilized, and slowly and steadily things are getting better. Of course, this is going to take several years for it to go back to normalcy. So it is still not yesterday's problem. It is still a current problem, but thankfully we know the science behind it. The governments are responding, and the industry is also responding. So that's very good news. In terms of when will we be back to normal, you can see we are looking at about 2100. So we are looking at almost a century worth of wait until things go back to what is essentially normal. And how useful has this been? This has been extremely useful, because this graph essentially just shows the possible cases of skin cancer that would have occurred if there was no change in policy as compared to the latest policy, which was in Copenhagen in 1992. So we've really addressed the problem, and this is a really good example of hope, because it's hope that science can come together with industry, with policy, and together we can solve a big problem that the world is facing. And currently our main problem is obviously climate change, and hopefully we can do something similar in terms of that. One last thing I want to mention before I let you go and eat some lovely food outside is in terms of yesterday's problem. So now we have solved the problem from the industry. The industry has responded to it. But climate change itself is going to have an adverse effect on the ozone layer. The reason is, as the troposphere heats up because of climate change, the amount of heat reaching the stratosphere reduces. So the stratosphere actually cools down. As it cools down, we know the number of particles that are being formed is going to increase, because the particles are formed only at cold temperatures. So ironically, climate change is not just global warming as a whole, it's warming the troposphere, but it's cooling the stratosphere. So this is something now we need to worry about in terms of the ozone layer. Currently, the reduction in your ozone depleting substances is bigger than the change in temperature, and hence we are safe, but it's something to worry about if we have increases of 3-4 degrees in the troposphere. With that, I will stop, and I'll thank the organization for inviting me for this talk, and I'm hoping that you learned a little bit about the history and chemistry behind it. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Anup. And I'm sure that, it takes an extremely good orator and ground experience to hold a crowd just at the fag end. Yeah, at the fag end of the program. So thank you so much. I would request Modgare Sarji to thank our speaker, Anup ji. It's been a pleasure listening to you, and we would look forward to, keep listening to you much more. The experience of Montreal Protocol and the success of how each of us countries have come together and saved the depleting ozone layer, as experienced right now, not only from the talks, but also through the pictures and the data analytics. That is what the theme of International Day of Clean Air for Blue Skies has been this year, Together for Clean Air. And this is how Maharashtra Pollution Control Board has been actually taking initiatives. We have also created Maharashtra Air Quality Improvement Plan, not only restricted to the 19 non-autonomous cities, but expanded it to the entire state of Maharashtra. And on the climate front, developed 43 Amrut cities carbon neutrality plan, which is being discussed right now to be finalized. I would now request for Rutuja to take over and announce the winners of the painting competition and also the Rangoli competition from the schools, and also show which pictures have actually bagged the awards. Please.
Hello everyone. I know it's time already, but this is the most exciting part of this conference, and I would just like to take 2 minutes of you all over here. And before I start announcing the results, I would just like to give brief about the, this competition to our Honorable PS sir. So as you all are aware, MPCB had conducted this online competition for school students in 2 categories, that is posters and Rangoli, for 2 categories of students, that is up to 7th standard and 7 to 10 standards, and in all over Maharashtra. To our surprise, we got entries from almost all the states of the, regions of the state, as well as we got the entries from 2 more states, that is Odisha and Tamil Nadu. And within a span of just 7 days, we received more than 450 entries. And the pictures and the posters that the students have created are very nice, which were related to the theme of these both international days. And these are just the gist of the posters and entries that we received. And now coming to the most exciting part, that is winning announcement of the winners. And I know all the students are watching it online. So the final ranking for poster category, that is up to 7th standard category 1. The 3rd prize goes to Vaishnavi Bhajne from ZP Kurud School. The 2nd prize goes to Maithili Titirmare from ZP Purva Madhyamik Hiratmalli School. And the 1st prize goes to Rajnandini Mokashi from VM Mehta School from Solapur. For the category 1, that is up to 7th standard, for Rangoli competition, the 3rd prize goes to Kritika Dhongde from ZP Kurud School. The 2nd prize goes to Asmi Chaugule from Ajit Rao Ghorpade School, Kalambi. And the 1st prize goes to Gayatri Kapgate from ZP School, Palasgaon. The 2nd category, that was poster, from category 2 from 8 to 10 standard. The 3rd prize goes to Anushka Suryanshi from Ramshet Thakur Public High School, Navi Mumbai. The 2nd prize goes to Gayatri Padvi from Lokmanya Tilak School, Nandurbar. And the 1st prize goes to Prathamesh Pawar E-School from Sri Datta Vidya Mandir, Shirpur. The Rangoli competition for up to 10th standard, the 3rd prize goes to Tanvi Nalawde from Vartak Nagar Vidyalaya, Thane. The 2nd prize goes to Aditi Dhodi from Cardinal Pimenta Adivasi High School, Varatkanda, Dahanu. And the 1st prize goes to Ankita Navle from Ajit Rao Ghorpade School, Kalambi. Apart from that, there were so many schools that, they supported us in this competition, and their wholehearted participation have been seen. So we have selected some schools who will be getting the consolation prizes also. So these are the 6 schools. Yes. So these are the 6 schools that have, we have selected as a consolation prize, and all the prizes will be given to the students online, and the money prize will be given in courier form. So thank you so much, everyone. Now,
So the schools which has wholeheartedly participated and made this event really beautiful, and there were no prizes as such, but we kept on harping, and it was really a graceful moment when MPCB, MS sir and Modgare sir actually were convinced that we should also felicitate them with an award prize, so that the participation keeps on adding year on year, and we can spread this message much more as a process. So thank you, sir. Thank you for your graceful gesture here. And now we are almost at the fag end of it. I would request Sanjay Bhuskote sir to please, express a vote of thanks.
Thank you, Ajay. I would like to express my gratitude and vote of thanks to all the present dignitaries, Dr. Sanjay Mukherjee sir, Praveen Darad sir, Dhakne sir, all the speakers on the dais, those were performed well, and all the environment lovers. Now we conclude this session with the good sweet food. मैं सबको विनंती करता हूँ, सगळ्यांना विनंती की आपण स्नेहभोजन घेऊन हा आनंद तसाच ठेवून पुढल्या वर्षी पुन्हा भेटूया. धन्यवाद. I must have to say thanks Dr. Ajay and Rutuja and all his team. They perform a nice program on this occasion.